Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Publicly Buzzed Live on a Friday night. Appreciate everyone that is here with me. I see a lot of people already in the chat per usual. Thank you all so much for being here. Appreciate it. Yeah. Willow, Wandering Orphan, Fat Baby Toodles, NorCal, Spider Baby, Flashbang Barbie, Melissa, Russ popping through, loving it. I'm so touched by the two brothers for letting me express myself to them and the community of this podcast. I have to go. Russ is, he's a flash. He ghost in the night, if you will. Cindy, the fossil chick, Remy, hell yeah. Thank you all for being here. Appreciate it. As everyone comes through, please hit that like. Helps out the stream tonight. Helps to get it into the algorithm. If you're not subbed up as you come through, we'll get this out of the way right now. Please sub up. Hit the little dot on the side. Make sure all notifications are clicked. And Friday night gets pretty wild. Char Virgil, Free, thank you. I am alone tonight. Dan is, again, he was under the weather last night. He's still under the weather tonight, unfortunately. I'm going to do the first hour here by myself. I'm going to go over a little bit of this Kohberger stuff that I got pulled up. And then at about 11:30 our time, my time, Eastern time, 1:30 p.m. on Saturday in Australia, my buddy Christian, the Australian, is going to call in here. We're going to talk about some who knows what. But hell yeah. Appreciate every single person for popping in here. Love it. Northern California, Creed 64, always coming through. Love it. Amanda, thank you guys so much. Yeah, I hope everybody's having a good Friday. Hope everybody's ready to start the weekend out. I know I am. This week has been brutal work-wise, so I'm ready to rock and roll. Not really so much work-wise, but just my body is feeling it. My back's feeling it. I guess I'm getting. Somebody just said maybe I'm just getting old. I was literally about to say I think I'm feeling like I'm getting old, but the music makes it hard to hear you. Oh shit! My bad. Oh my god! I didn't even know that music was still blasting that loud. That was totally my bad. Sorry about that, Amanda. Well, hopefully everyone heard what I said out the gate there with that music blast. And damn, again, it wouldn't be a Publicly Buzzed live stream if I didn't have some kind of crazy mess up out the gate. Amanda calling it out. Anytime anything like that out, if you guys are weird, like see anything crazy like that happen in the stream, call it out. Thank you so much, Amanda. Appreciate that. I'm not even sure why I had it set that high. Threads and Roses popping in here. Appreciate it. Thank you so much. I know Dan is sick. And no, you're not getting too old. I did not intend for it to be that loud whatsoever. But yeah, Dan is feeling a little bit under the weather. He may pop in the chat here. You never know. I sent him a link. So that'd be cool if he does. But yeah, he is not feeling the best tonight. He wasn't feeling good yesterday either. I talked to him. I mean, he's fine, but he's not feeling up for doing a live stream. Alpine Gulch coming through here. Gail, love it. Love it. Thank you all so much. Yeah, as y'all come through, please hit that like. Appreciate that. Love it. Thank you so much. Let me pop over here to the internet. Let me make sure all that is working properly, at least. For goodness sakes. Trim it up here just a hair. A couple of Kohberger things I'm going to go over again. News Nation, take this with a grain of thought. That's a good saying, actually. That might actually work here as well. Right here, Chris Fuckface Cuomo. According to News Nation sources, a female associate of Idaho 4 suspect Bryan Kohberger had asked for his advice in installing a home security system. Law enforcement is wondering whether Kohberger may have been the one to break in. I'm not sure if, this is a source story I've got pulled up here. This one's kind of interesting, though. This one, new Bryan Kohberger revelations come, and this was really just a couple of different interviews with people that actually knew Bryan Kohberger. This was his neighbor. Is this one not working? Oh my god. Okay. Thought the mic wasn't working there. I was like, no way. But yeah, this is his neighbor was interviewed here. Somebody that went to school with him and was actually a lab partner at D-Cells University. So yeah, a couple of different things I wanted to just touch base on here before, Christian will probably pop through here in the chat. Possibly he's going to come through. I know on the Discord for sure. And come on here live a little bit. Anybody that didn't hear the live stream when Christian came on, go back and check that out. He was a really fun guest. We got into a little bit of some spooky talk. So you never know what we might get into here. Could get a little bit crazy. No problem at all, Amanda. Thank you for calling it out again. And Anna Sue, I see you in here. Sandra, thank you guys all. Seriously, Creepy Crystal. Yeah, the Friday Night Crew popping through. I did a kick at a hardcore show, and now I have sciatica pain. Getting old sucks. Yeah, I'm right there. My back and lower back is garbage. Whisper Speaks. Thank you guys so much. Sam, Yeah, we'll start out here with the with this clip, I guess. Make sure it's working properly.
A female WSU associate of Kohberger's confided in him that someone had broken into her apartment and asked Kohberger for advice on installing a home security system. We've learned that law enforcement is suspicious of whether Kohberger was the one who broke into his colleague's home and as to whether he used the surveillance equipment to stalk her. Are there more that could be out there? How do these pieces of information lead you in one direction or another?
When I first started talking about this case, I said that there would be a history of stalking. There seemed to be a very predatory type of behaviour and targeting one victim in particular, but in fact going into a house of multiple occupancy told me that whoever this was someone who has done it before. So it's no surprise that there's a history, and I think we're going to be hearing more. You know, this is just tip of the iceberg. This is really the start of the investigation, timelining each of the victims to find out where their life may have intersected with his, or probably more importantly, how and when he targeted the primary victim. So his timeline is equally very important, and I suspect we're going to be hearing about more victims. This is just tip of the iceberg.
Yeah, they're really trying to push this serial killer narrative over on News Nation, aren't they? Like, that's exactly how that sounded to me. Here's a little bit of a longer clip. This is going to be letting me pick up the dog that I got to see in a minute, if you know what I'm saying. Again, I'm drinking a little bit of a beer. Hope everybody's got their drinks and their vices set up as well.
To break down on the psychology of Bryan Kohberger, what this tells us about what else he may have been up to. So let's bring in people in the business of profiling people just like him and making cases that hold in court. Retired FBI agent, Law and Justice contributor Jennifer Coffindaffer, and Laura Richards.
Look at this chat also while this is happening.
She was a top criminal profiler.
Oh, shit, right out the gate. Creed64, $4.99 super chat. Happy Friday, Steve. Hope Dan gets better. Yeah, if Dan's in here watching this, he's definitely going to be, thank you for that as well, but I'll let him know that you sent that as well. Yeah, Dan and Mosh, man, I don't know. I hate that he's not here. Honestly, I think this is the first Friday that he's missed, if I'm not mistaken. I was real sad that Misty Barger, thank you for coming in here. Tarbully Coors, hell yeah. Tsunami, that's what I want to hear. Hell yeah. You guys know what's up. Let me pop one of those in there right now. Bam, bam, boom. Let's get it. I'm going to be keeping an eye out for Christian also as soon as he comes through the old, yeah, I'm going to keep an eye. I got a waiting room here in the Discord, and as soon as he pops in here, we will get that dude on here.
At New Scotland Yard and the FBI. Laura, good to have you on the show. Coffindaffer, as always. So I start with you, Jennifer. What is your reaction to what we have learned?
Well, it's big news, but it's also supportive news. It's nothing that surprising that he would possibly be stalking other individuals. Also, it's not surprising that he would have been condescending or treat women differently than men based on what we know.
So, Laura, when you're trying to assess somebody like this and what they're about and what their motivations were, the big concern about Kohberger is, of course, can they make the case in Moscow, but also, is there more to him? Are there more that could be out there? How do these pieces of information lead you in one direction or another?
Well, yes, and thank you very much for having me on, Chris.
Dan knows, you know already, bro.
It's a pleasure to be here. And I think that, you know, when I first...
Dan, you got to go back and watch the 420 special from last night. It got wild as hell. Anybody that didn't see that 420 special, it was
started talking about this case, I said that there would be a history of stalking. There seemed to be a very predatory type of behavior and targeting one victim in particular, but in fact going into a house of multiple occupancy told me that whoever this was someone who has done it before. So it's no surprise that there's a history.
Really trying to push that serial killer narrative over on News Nation. What do you guys think about that? I'm open to that, but I like, they're really like every article that's coming out right now is really pushing that, you know, which I mean, I even agreed that there's definitely a possibility that he's, I agree that there's definitely a possibility that in Pennsylvania, they're 100% looking into other cold cases. I would think and say, I mean, why wouldn't they be? But to just like prematurely be News Nation going pretty hard, you know, on the rubber here with the serial killer narrative is pretty wild. But I mean, is that the only place they can go now? Like, where else do you go with this, right? Until we can actually get into court, see what's going on. I mean, you're just really going to be rehashing kind of the same things. You can have new experts on that want to discuss it, former FBI agents, what have you. But at the end of the day, we can really just kind of rehash the same theories over and over again. Yeah, I don't know, but they're pushing that serial killer narrative hard right now. And I could see it. I'm not saying that's not an impossible thing. I know some people don't want to talk about that at all. Hell, a lot of my crowd is definitely, you know, thinks he's innocent even, you know, and he is currently definitely innocent until proven guilty, but I definitely don't think I think that they got the right guy at the end of the day. But to just go full on serial killer prematurely, but you know, they have that stalking story now that they're kind of raised up, but it's a source, right? Where the hell is this shit coming from? Like,
and I think we're going to be hearing more. You know, this is just tip of the iceberg. This is really the start of the investigation, timelining each of the victims to find out where their life may have intersected with his, or probably more importantly, how and when he targeted the primary victim. So his timeline is equally very important. And I suspect we're going to be hearing about more victims. This is just tip of the iceberg.
So how do you reconcile, Laura, from a profile perspective, and then I'll come to you, Jennifer, as from a building a case perspective, but from a profiling perspective, how do you reconcile the methodical, the planning of maybe doing a fake break-in and a canard that leads somebody to want your help, and now you get surveillance equipment so you can just watch them, with a guy who breaks into a house with...
I can't lie. I came on here maybe even a little bit more buzzed than I've ever come on live before. We went to a Mexican restaurant earlier, and they serve the stiffest margaritas I've ever had. Like, you can it's like 20 minutes from my house, and you got to drive like on you know, the actual highway. It's almost like, you know, afterwards you either need a DD or you need to chill the hell out for a prolonged period of time. Because even if you eat, when you come out of there, you know, I've really just kept the buzz rolling all night to a pretty moderate stance where, you know, now I'm probably going to get a little bit more loaded, but I'm telling you right now, a margarita set this night off, and I'm not mad about it.
A hunting knife and butchers people and creates a scene that they can't even let us see. How do you reconcile those two types of behavior?
Well, I would expect to see in vivo tryouts before what happened in Idaho. So this makes sense. And, you know, oftentimes with stalking cases, because the stalker does want to get up close and personal with the victim, which is no comfort to the victims, but does want to watch them, I've worked numerous cases where the stalker has created a situation that puts the victim in fear. They then tell the stalker and confide.
This was an interesting point here by this lady, though. I'm going to back up just a second, because this is in talking about, you know, the case that I just read here, even the possibility of him being stalking other women before the four, you know, or whoever, maybe there was a victim, whatever happened in the situation where the Idaho four ended up getting, you know, unfortunately murdered. You know, could there have been anybody else? And that the story that they're coming up here is that, you know, a lady, I guess somebody has come out, again, a source, take that however you want, is coming out and saying that, you know, they confided in Kohberger ahead of time. They thought somebody was stalking them or peeping Tomming them, and they wanted to figure out how to get some surveillance in their apartment or what have you. And now I guess they're wondering if did he put the surveillance in? And if he did, I guess they're wondering, was he watching this person also, right?
And, you know, oftentimes with stalking
Allegedly.
cases, because the stalker does want to get up close and personal with the victim, which is no comfort to the victims, but does want to watch them, I've worked numerous cases where the stalker has created a situation that puts the victim in fear.
Kaylee.
They then tell the stalker and confide in them what's happened.
Kayla, Danny, thank you for being in here. Appreciate it.
And then they seem to be the rescuer and come to the help and rescue.
Hey, I didn't die. I'm not saying, hey, I hung out for a prolonged period of time, Willow. I was good. I don't drink and drive.
with the victim.
I'm just saying one will get you where you want to be real quick. If you have two, then you just need to throw in the towel.
So the fact, if this particular victim did confide in him that she was fearful about anything that was going on, and then there was a break-in, well, he may well have put that security system into her place and been stalking her via that means. So stalkers are very clever, they're very cunning, and they're very manipulative. And I would expect there to be an extensive history before the Idaho case. This is somebody who's done it before, because it takes a lot for someone to go through the door when there are multiple students within one address. But this individual did that. So he's practiced, he's done it before, and now it's the case of trying to find all of those, what I would call warning sign behaviours, and for women to come forward and to report and tell police whatever they might have experienced, whether it's the students talking about his behaviour towards them and him making them feel uncomfortable. These are all very important warning signs.
Yeah. If there's anything to that story, again, how the hell do you even really know? But it's interesting. Let me see here. Now, I did want to touch on this just for a second here. The Bryan Kohberger revelations. This is what the story's saying, but there's some interviews in here with some neighbors, and I think these aren't exactly new, but I thought they were still interesting, and I haven't seen anybody shed a lot of light on these, or at least touch base, a lot rather. So right here, before Kohberger was named as the only suspect in the slayings, he lived a quiet life and flew under the radar as a regular Joe. A former classmate and neighbor are speaking out and revealing new details about the 28-year-old accused of murdering 4 people. I'm sure there's statistics out there of how many people pass by a murderer or how many people know a murderer. I don't and didn't until recently, says Josh Ferrero, who attended D. Cells University with Kohberger. It's very concerning and it's very eerie and creepy. A local outlet that LayValleyLive.com is who got this interview, I guess. Kohberger was pursuing, of course, a PhD with criminology in WSU in Pullman, which was a 15-minute drive from the murders, yes. Lived in the same apartment complex in Pullman as Kohberger, and the two were friendly. Literally, like days after these murders happened, he brought it up, and when I saw him in the hallway, Martinez said, this is one of the guys right here, the neighbor, I believe. Those are the two things he said. They have no leads, and they think it was a crime of passion. He just really liked talking to me in the hall. He would talk about his studies, like forensics and stuff, and criminology stuff. And at the time, it just seemed like normal times. And it would, right? This is what he's studying. That actually seems like a normal conversation flow. Martinez lived across the hall from Kohberger and has a vivid memory of him moving in. And this is, I know you guys have probably heard this, when he moved in, the dad was kind of talking to him and saying he was shy. He wanted to introduce him to the neighbor, and the neighbor's wife was actually creeped out by Kohberger, as they say here. Kohberger was socially awkward and standoffish. Shortly after Martinez was introduced to Kohberger, he invited the alleged killer to a pool party where he met Zach Cartwright. I did notice him, and I noticed that he was kind of standing off the entire time. He wasn't very social, which I thought was kind of weird because it was a party and some were interacting. He was just kind of standoffish, Cartwright told Law and Crime Network. He did seem kind of just socially awkward and kind of hard to carry a conversation with, if I remember correctly. Kohberger acted like he was best friends with somebody he hardly knew. Cartwright explained that Kohberger mainly kept to the side and was really observant at the pool party, so much so that based on that one small interaction, he knew exactly who I was maybe a month or so later when I saw him on a hike. He added, it was really weird how he approached me and the people that I was with, because he acted like we were best friends. It was probably like a defense mechanism, right? Socially awkward guy, not wanting to be out of place. Like, hey man, the one person I do kind of know, what's going on? I want to make sure that, let's not get weird here. I do know you, right? It was like a reunion or something, and he was really excited to see us. I had no idea really who he was right at the second. Right here, neighbor's wife didn't have a good feeling about Kohberger. Martinez wanted to invite Kohberger to other parties and social events, but his wife also always told him not to. She didn't have a good feeling about him, because every time I would like to tell her I'm going to invite Bryan because he didn't have any friends, I was trying to bring him out and maybe meet people. But she was like, no, please don't, he said. A standout conversation with Kohberger about DNA evidence, but DNA was left behind at the crime scene, according to the PCA, which was released after Kohberger's arrest. A tan leather knife sheath we've all become very familiar with was found next to Mogan on the bed where she and Gonsalves were found dead. The Idaho State Lab later located a single source of male DNA left on the button snap of the sheath. It was compared to the DNA recovered from the trash at Kohberger's parents' house, and it was a near perfect match. Martinez recalled conversations he had with his former neighbor that related to the evidence. He was talking about genealogy. Because I was talking about 23andMe. Because my sister had just did all that, and then he brought up something similar to in his studies that he had to do with being able to catch criminals because their relatives' DNA, which is, I guess, how he got caught up in this mix. The murders happened November 13, 2022, and Kohberger texted Martinez 11 days later on Thanksgiving, "Happy Thanksgiving to you and your family." It kind of made me feel bad because I was like, one of the people that he made friends with, what if it would have made a difference if I had been able to meet up with him the times that I could have? Maybe that would have changed anything. Kohberger spent his childhood in the Pocono Mountains in Pennsylvania and attended college at DeSales University, a private Catholic university, of course, yes. And this guy actually had a lab, or I guess a project, with him, I believe, in DeSales. Right here, Ferreira received an undergraduate DeSales and recalled. Yeah, right here. Ferreira received an undergraduate criminal justice degree from DeSales and recalled a project he worked on with the accused killer for the entire semester. He was new, and I said, "Hey, buddy, do you want to be my lab partner?" Ferreira recalled. So I told him, and it ended up working out very well. Ferreira was closely following the story of the Idaho murders and couldn't believe his former lab partner was a suspect. My reaction was exactly, I know this guy. I definitely remember that name from DeSales, but I couldn't paint the face in my mind. I'm like, Bryan Kohberger. And I'm like, oh gosh, Bryan Kohberger. I did a project with him in biology. DeSales University is a small university of less than 5,000 people. It's a small school. It's not like it's a Penn State or Pitt or a Temple. It's a very small school in a cornfield. So if you go there, you know most of the people within your study and pretty much everyone that goes to the school. That's interesting. I didn't really know that. I hadn't looked into it either, about how big or small DeSales University was. He added DeSales is just such a close-knit and heartfelt community. Like I said, everybody knows each other, and the fact that really no one knows about this guy, he went in and out. When Ferreira heard about Kohberger's arrest, he was stunned. At the time, I would have never said, oh yeah, that guy would do something like this. He may have been a little odd or a little off, but other than that, you'd never expect to be allegedly part of a quadruple homicide. Kohberger was an average Joe. Kohberger commuted to school and kept to himself while he studied psychology as an undergraduate at DeSales. And according to Ferreira, there wasn't anything alarming about him. It's not always the creepy guy with glasses and oily hair creeping around in the corner. It's sometimes just the average Joe. That on the inside, you have no idea what he looks like. But on the outside, he may just seem like a normal person, much like Kohberger did. And this guy, Ferreira's got some theories here on the motives. Now that Ferreira has time to process the fact that he knows an alleged killer, he's thought about what drove him to this point. I think he had this compulsion, this need, this necessity to do it. And he's probably always wanted to do it and finally said, F it, I'm going to do it, he said. Ferrero, I'm probably murdering this guy's name. I apologize. After the fact, I was about to say ahead of time, but after the fact, believes Kohberger snapped saying, I think he's just sick. I think that people online want to make this into a fairy tale and make it grandioso and much more than it is. If he had done this, I think he's a sick individual that's just snapped. And right here, here's someone saying that people just don't snap. While Ferreira has his theories about the motive behind the killings, Dr. John De La Torre has his own. Law and Crime Network reported that De La Torre stated, no one just snaps. There can be a straw that breaks the camel's back if we want to continue to use idioms. I'm probably butchering that one too. That certainly can be. But that person has been dealing with distressing emotions for a long time, has been unsuccessful in coping with them in a healthy way. The person who committed this crime is a mass killer. There's no still there's still so much to be learned about Kohberger, but one thing is clear: whoever committed this crime is a mass killer. What actually happened was that he was a mass killer, Delatorre said. Whoever did this should actually be considered, okay, again, mass killer. Former professor breaks down, and this lady right here, I wish I'd have got this pulled up beforehand. She actually has stated she won't do any kind of interviews or discussions about Bryan Kohberger. She don't want to talk about it. And he was in her class. Both Ferrero and Kohberger took a class with renowned forensic psychologist and DeSales University professor Dr. Catherine Ramsland, who will not comment about the suspect. I'm making no statements about Kohberger and will not be interviewed for any stories that feature him, she told Law and Crime Network via email. However, she did appear on the network's podcast Coptails and Cocktails a few months before the murders, where she said, have I come face to face with psychopaths? Absolutely. The coldness, the lack of remorse, definitely. Ramsland said while appearing on the podcast, some people call that evil, but we are finding that it might very well be a brain disorder. In the interview, she said, the brains of what we call primary psychopaths, who seems to be born with this brain disconnect, are definitely different. It allows them to be better predators, if that's what they choose to be. Not all psychopaths are criminals. Not all psychopaths are murderers, Ramsland said. If they choose that, it allows them to be very effective, better because they really don't have any remorse over that they're doing, what they're doing. And they really can be very calculated. They tend to be very reward driven. Right here, talking about having no run-ins with the law. One of the reasons why the community is shocked by the news of Kohberger's arrest is that he had no previous legal troubles. We had no indication he was here at all. We had no indication he had any interaction with law enforcement at all. After Kohberger's arrest, Hook's team reviewed area cold cases for possible links to Kohberger. This was mentioned in the chat here by Creepy Crystal, I believe. When you have somebody who might have serial attached to their name, you're just going to make a check to see if there's a connection, if he had any contact in the country. And I guess, where he's from, they did not find anything. Kohberger has been arrested and charged, but not convicted of any wrongdoing as of now. He's innocent until proven guilty, guys. But Ferreira believes the police got it right. Absolutely think they got the right guy just because the stars kind of align. It's almost too good to be true. Unless this guy was miraculously set up, which we've all talked about, right? That's not a new thing here in this chat, and even in the Kohberger world altogether now. See this discussed often and all the time on a lot of streams and a lot of channels. Again, it's almost too good to be true unless this guy was miraculously, a miracle has been done here to set him up, which is 1 in a billion. No one cares enough about Bryan Kohberger, this man says, to set him up. All right. Martinez agrees. They wouldn't have arrested him if they didn't have some concrete evidence, Martinez said. If everything they're saying is true in these stories, I think he did it. These are from people who actually knew him. Again, take that how you want. Kohberger was arrested again, just kind of relaying all the stuff we already know as we wait right now for June 26th. I thought this was interesting, though. It kind of touched a little bit more based on just, the one-line interviews. It kind of dove a little bit deeper into what they were saying. Better than I had seen previously anyways. Let's see what everybody in chat's saying. I can appreciate everybody for being here on a Friday night. We go. Crystal, I lived in Indian Mount Lakes around the corner from Bryan. My mom still lives there, and we're shocked someone so close to us could be affiliated with it. But I feel like he was also framed. I know a lot of people have that thought. Threads and Roses, I really wish they would stop saying he was socially awkward. Jessica Christie, I wonder if people are remembering things differently because of the media's narrative, like how it's drawn he really was. Yeah, and that's a good point, too. The media will completely sway the narrative on a story like that. That happens all the time. And that's one cool thing about the YouTube community and the online sleuths and the Twitter online community and the sleuths over there. They're outside of this mainstream media bubble. News Nation is still within that bubble. And it's one of the only news sources that are really hard hitting still, the Idaho 4 and the Kohberger stuff. But it's still so swayed, even in the public eye of like mainstream media, just in general. So that's actually why I kind of do dig the internet community, and a lot of times. And again, it's because actual general discussion can't happen. There's a lot of people that try to stifle that. That'll always happen. That'll never not happen. But I think that more and more, especially as I've been here the last 4 months in the crime community, since the Idaho 4 is what brought me into this. So I've seen just with my own eyes, people have definitely not been afraid to speak up, and it's awesome to watch, and it's been really cool because yeah, a lot of different people have different outtakes and thought processes on this whole thing. Classic introvert, says Firefly. Jamie, I really appreciate you being here tonight, bud. BK would definitely eat a soy patty, I'd reckon. Being a vegan, right? They rocking the soy. I've never in my life, probably never will. Creeper Crystal, he's talking to Willow. Right here. Miguel 29, Bryan was not socially awkward. His close female friend from high school said he was quiet but extremely funny. He kept his friend circle tight, right? I mean, that's true too. Not everybody's outgoing with every new person they meet, right? The pool party story he had in there. He's new. They invited dude. That was even when I read that, I even had a flashback of me at any kind of random party, guys. If once you get to know me, and that's kind of how the stream is, you're coming in and getting to know me here, right? If I'm going into your neck of the woods, you know, say if we were even in real life or whatever, or even probably in a stream, sometimes in chats, I'm a little bit shy, right? You're gonna be shy out. At least I am. I really am. Like until we get to know each other, and then I start to come out of the shell a little bit. Like it's probably. Susie, thank you for popping in. I really appreciate that. Hope you're having a good Friday, ready for the weekend. Strict 9 coming through as well. Big crew tonight, guys. Thank y'all so much. Appreciate it. If you say Bryan Kohberger in the mirror 3 times, guys, some Candyman shit. And so everyone is going to scrutinize everything he's ever done. That is 100% true. I'm sure the FBI probably has every detail about this guy's life down to his kindergarten grades. Yeah, and I mean, we've talked about it time and time again. He will never have a normal life, period, no matter what happens here. Remy, I also think Kohberger was an intern for the Idaho Police Department. I know he's trying to be. I don't know if that was confirmed, but I know he was trying to be. He was trying to get in there, right? Which I thought was interesting. If he did do it, he's trying to get close to probably get some information. Hey, right there, right? And Chris Cuomo is still getting that 15 minutes, isn't he? Huh? I hate Chris Cuomo, guys. Why didn't Bryan Kohberger snap when he got arrested and has not snapped being in jail till this day? Timmy Lund, thank you for being here, Timmy. Appreciate it. Not sure if I said that. And Anasu, that lady is creepy by herself. She seems to enjoy her job. You're talking about the professor. Yeah, she's interesting. I actually wish she would talk about it. I would like to hear what she had to say about the Kohberger stuff, quite frankly. The Reds and Roses probably now that believe nothing you hear, only half that you see. And that's an Edgar Allan Poe quote. Student at WSU set him up. I believe the sheath came from the WSU criminology department. If it comes out that he was set up, that'd be so crazy. Hopefully it would get proven, though, because he's already in a position where he's going to be screwed, right? Yeah, right here, same. Just because someone is quiet doesn't mean they are socially awkward. And Anasu believes she remembered right here that somebody had said that they remembered on the Amazon account that he had purchased a knife sheath. I don't remember that right off, but there's so much now, right? I know the opinionated idiot is going back and kind of rewatching, going back over some of the old stuff, and that's a really cool idea. That's a good idea to do because it gets so murky and there's so much BS, and now we're living in the world of nothing but BS. So that's not a bad idea to do, like at all. Love that actually. I hear some of these mainstream media people be saying things they shouldn't. Now that is absolutely true all the time. Bella coming in here. Thank you so much. Hope you're having a good Friday going into Saturday, wherever you're at. I think you're actually in the UK, maybe. I might be wrong. I apologize if so. And there we go. Creed 64 coming through. Hit that like button, guys. Help me out. Get this thing popping. It's already popping. You guys have already killed it. Even if it ends right now. You guys have literally killed it already. I love it. Making this whole thing worth it. The truth will prevail, but I think he did it, Kayla. I think, again, I have to, I say this every time now, but I think he did it, but it's more of a hope. And I say it, I hope they have the right guy, I guess is what I should be saying. Like, I hope that they haven't screwed this up for so many reasons, but particularly the families. But if they don't have the right guy and they can't prove it, I'm not saying I want the wrong guy in jail. That's not what I'm saying. I always feel like that's coming out horrible. Creepy Crystal, man, I would love to be a jury member on this case. Wow, it'd be crazy. It'd be nuts. Hell yeah, Chicken Tinker. Listening as I work, great live. Love it. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Always coming through with the love and the thumbs. Great member. Also, just join the Discord, folks. Please, also, anybody that is not, get in that Discord. I need to get more active in there. We need to start getting some games or something going, but I'm definitely going to start having more movie nights in the future. We watched The Thing not long ago. Yeah, we'll probably start doing that at least more often. Anyways, get some input from you guys. See what you guys want to do in there. We're over 100 members in the Discord anyways. Appreciate it. Mountain Mama coming through with the $5 super sticker. Appreciate that. Thank you so much, Mountain Mama. Love that. All the way from West Virginia. That is right. Oh my God, Dan makes an appearance. Hey guys, sorry I'm not on tonight. Hope everyone is doing well. Yeah, Dan, they were wishing you well, brother. Dan making an appearance from the deep, from the back. Yeah, it's hard, Sam. It's real hard. Right there, Chosen Rosen. Thank you coming through on the Discord. Appreciate that, brother. That's awesome. And also coming through with the super stickers, or the super stack with the beers and the pirate flag. Hell yeah, you know already, man. Hell yeah. Love it. Killing it. And a member. That's dope as hell. So Spider Baby, I'm both quiet and socially awkward. Well, Spider Baby, I'm going to send the police to your house. You are done. I don't like that tone in my chat. Fat Baby Toodles, if he didn't do it, he can probably write a book / Netflix show. If he gets out, if they do end up not being able to convict him, and he is, and he walks away not guilty, he's going to probably be able to make some money like that. He'll probably be suing a lot of people, right? I'm not going to take every video I got down. No. It's all alleged. I'm not blaming anybody until we get some real proof. I'm living on a hope and a prayer. Oh shit, Bill. I don't know why I thought you was in the UK. Living in PA. Now, you're a little too close to the action. I apologize for that. Love it, Bella. Thank you, though. Fire chat is per usual out here tonight. Carol, thank you for popping in also. And right by Carol's name, that's the 3-month emoji right there. Last night I called out Strychnine for his. That's a walking, I'm going to call it a dancing beer. I'm starting to pop those through now. Yeah, Dan, please feel better. Dan, hopefully we'll be back in action next week, guys. And yeah, make sure you stay tuned tonight because, yeah, in about 20 minutes or so, I should have the Australian calling in here, Christian. It is about 1:11 in Australia right now. Saturday, midday, mid-afternoon. Hopefully it works out. We were talking earlier. I know it's a weird time thing, and he definitely said he's going to be trying to come on here. I believe it's a solid thing. Let me touch base with him right now. I'm going to go ahead and say I'm good anytime you are. Keep this thing moving. Shan't we? Yeah, Dan. Yeah, Dan will be back. I hate that Dan missed last night, though, is what sucks, man. Again, last night's episode was the 420 episode. Last night was the whole this whole channel coming full circle. We started out, PubliclyBuzzed started out doing public domain movies, us doing commentary over public domain movies and making jokes. So I really hate that he missed that. We're going to definitely come back for another one of those in the future. I've been talking about it. That would have been perfect. We also watched the trailer for Reefer Madness, and that one looked wild as hell. But last night, there was nudity. There was a crazy sex orgy, crazy sex romp party from 1936 on this channel. Last night got crazy, guys. Like, I don't even know what the hell happened. It really got wild. I did not expect that in that. I've seen Reefer Madness. I had never seen marijuana. He'll be back. Yeah, I was playing a little bit of the Grub Truck video last week when Subconscious Mouth was on here, but I'll definitely put it back up. Does anybody have a link to that? I'll pop it up while we wait on Christian to call in here. Whoa, Fat Baby Toodles. When I hit the bong, it only comes up as the dog. Huh, I'm gonna have to refresh those somehow. That's hilarious. Christian, what's going on? Thank you for popping in here. Oh yeah, go back and check out last night. Last night was crazy. Yeah, hopefully you're good, Dan. Hopefully it's not like that. Meantime, I'll play this video right here while I see a man about a dog, my friends. Real quick, let me pop it up. Bam. Bam.
Case.
Make sure it's
with our exclusive new reporting in the quadruple Idaho murder case. We have two significant developments. First, Bryan Kohberger's behavior at the school had been flagged by Washington State University. How? Sources closely involved in the case have told us that as a teaching assistant, he often made condescending and sexist comments toward women, that he was a harsher grader on female students than he was on men, that he would tell them they didn't have what it took and they wouldn't make it, they wouldn't get the jobs, they wouldn't be as good as men. So much so that several students complained about Kohberger's rank sexism to the school, caused WSU to conduct a harassment training seminar, according to somebody who had to be part of it. Kohberger was later fired from that job. So what happened in Moscow did not just come from nowhere, a proposition that is made absolutely clear by the next piece of reporting. A female WSU associate of Kohberger's confided in him that someone had broken into her apartment and asked Kohberger for advice on installing a home security system. We've learned that law enforcement is suspicious of whether Kohberger was the one who broke into his colleague's home, and as to whether he used the surveillance equipment to stalk her.
To stalk her. Yeah. I'm not sure about that. That's the new one that they're kind of running with right now, is the possibility.
But we're going to start with our exclusive
possibility of her being stalked, of this lady coming forth saying that she confided in Kohberger, right? Hold on. I just watched it last week. Somebody had a good one up. It was like in slow-mo and the food truck video. Give me 1 second. Should be able to backtrack here. Find it fairly quickly. I said fairly quickly, going back in time. We're going back. We're going back in time. Don't pass over it. Boom. Here we go.
Maddie talks to tank top guy. Let's see. Okay, Maddie talks to. Let's see. So people said, oh, he's stalking. The girls don't seem to mind that he's right there, in my opinion. Kaylee's looking at her phone, and Maddie's just walking behind, flailing her hands. And then Jack walks off to stand over here, and they go to get food. Okay. So next, number 9. This guy, I'm gonna call him number 9. He notices girls arrive. So it looks like he's the first one to notice the girls arriving. And as you can see, this is where he turns his head and he sees Maddie and Kaylee right there. And you can see he sees them and he kind of just like, oh, there they are. He even steps over to take a glance right there. He's looking at Maddie. And then okay, also this is when Jack puts on the hoodie. So you can see that people say he looked into the camera or he saw a camera and he decides to put on a hoodie. So by that kind of, to me, it doesn't make sense, because when he takes off his hat, now we can see his whole face. We can see his entire face. So that he exposes himself even more like this. And he must know there's a camera right there. I don't know if he's been to a grub truck before, if this is his first time or he's been here before. If this is his first time, I can see why people be like, oh, he's trying to hide himself once he saw the cameras. But if he lives there and he went here multiple times, he would know there's cameras. And so he takes it off, puts on his hat the right way, and puts on the hoodie. Is it because he's scared of the camera, or is he just cold and he's trying to use the hoodie? So we don't know at this point. And he just goes there and
Yeah, I see the guy Sam.
Stands on the side.
This guy back here in the all black. Idaho chick.
This is when number 9 waves at Maddie. So as you can see,
they all watch her come in.
He's looking at Maddie. Maddie's not looking at him. And then as soon as Maddie turns and sees him, he puts the 2 fingers
Kristen's
up.
saying bullshit
Maddie
now.
notices him. That's when she starts to approach him. Okay, she's approaching him. She gives him a hug.
Do this.
And then she just walks off, which is kind of, well, she says something.
Thank you. Absolutely.
She makes a couple comments and she walks off, which is weird because he looked very excited to see her, and she looked excited, and then she comes over to say hi or whatever, and then she just walks off. I don't know. I feel like they would have spoken a little bit longer. And as she's walking off, he's, I don't know, looking down. And then he walks over to this guy who is, we're gonna call him number 8. He has a number 8 on his t-shirt. And then Maddie goes back to Kaylee.
It's a pretty long version.
And we also
give me a link, send it to me if you got anything else.
One thing I forgot to mention
Discord.
is that when Maddie walks off, right here, Jack sees her walking off and he follows her with his eyes. While he doesn't move, he stands in the same spot. He's looking at her.
Do this.
He looks away. He goes back on his phone. I guess he lost interest in that.
Cool. Thank you. Absolutely.
He looks over again
How many more do you need?
at Maddie,
That's the second one?
and then he kind of just looks away.
Let's pop a new I guess Dan, you ain't drinking tonight, I reckon.
And then number 9 makes a sleeping gesture after Maddie leaves. So as you can see, somebody else noticed this, and I thought this was interesting. When she left, he says something to number 8. He looks back up at Maddie and he makes this gesture, whatever that is. I have no idea.
He did kind of make a sleeping gesture there, didn't he?
Sleeping gesture. Okay, here we go.
The fuck was that? Hold on. That was actually kind of weird. But I want to see the whole. I want to see the whole thing.
Interesting that.
So they're talking. She pushes on him.
He looks over again.
But you can take like so much of this out of context just by the overthinking this shit. I'd never put any of these people's lives on the line for something that I couldn't prove. But it doesn't stop us from looking at literally what's in front of our faces here.
That's the second one?
And then he kind of just looks away.
Awesome.
And then
I mean, he literally done the
number 9 makes a sleeping gesture after Maddie leaves. So as you can see, somebody else noticed.
But who is doing that to? The grub truck
when
dude?
she left, he says something to number 8.
Okay, him and number 8 are
back
together.
up at Maddie, and he makes this gesture, whatever that is. I have no idea.
All right, yeah, I want to see what happens after that.
Like a sleeping gesture. Okay, here we go. We keep going. Oh, then we see number 8 walk off.
Right here.
He's walking off, walking off. Okay, so number 9's friends and girlfriend arrives. Right there. So number 8 goes, sees them, comes back to number 9.
Well, I mean, I've never really analyzed it this deep. And then chosen Rosen.
They come here.
There is probably a little over analyzing that you can do here as well, right? Because we're so deep into this already. Think about before Bryan Kohberger was actually caught, what we were doing. We were like, I was part of it too. They got tons of videos where it's just like, what is going on here? What is going on here? There's so much happening. It's so easy to get caught up on this person. I mean, and I'm not saying none of this isn't happening or none of you guys aren't, putting in the legwork, but at the same time, it's also very easy to get swept up. I'm very guilty of that as well.
Maddie is stumbling. We can also see that Maddie is kind of stumbling, so she is drunk. She's pretty tipsy.
It would be a good golf
back and forth. Then we see number 8 talking with the girl.
I did see that.
And then we see the number 9 kisses a girl. Is that his girlfriend? Is that just like a friend? They kiss on the lips. And then she walks off. Maddie leaves Kaylee to talk to number 9, but then changes her mind. Okay, so as soon as this girl kisses number 9, she walks off. You can see Maddie peek over and sees the girl walking, and she looks over at number 9, and she decides to walk towards them. But then she approaches and turns around, and he even looked like he was going to talk to her, but then he sees that she just turned away, and then she kind of gets closer.
This is true.
And he's like, okay.
There's studies on stuff like that.
Hey, like, is she gonna say something? But then he just looks like she's not.
How are you guys doing?
And then we finally see Kaylee make her way over to Maddie. And what's interesting, Jack follows Kaylee.
See, my problem here, Sam, is I keep forgetting about them, and I see all this, happening up here. I keep forgetting to really watch them. That dude, I will admit, hasn't moved in a minute. They're not moving at all.
After she's done ordering, so.
God, but you'd have to put in a lot of time on this, to really watch all
Jack
these people.
Changes his position after.
Now, I've seen a lot of this numerous times from making videos. But no,
Kaylee moves.
You ain't wrong.
So he wasn't moving when Maddie was moving. He's moving when Kaylee's moving. So we can see right here, he sees it, and there's no doubt that he moves right when Kaylee moves. So she's done, she's moving, and he makes his way over.
Where's my pen? How are you guys doing?
Right here.
Doing fantastic.
And this is where he comes out. This video.
That's fine.
And I'll admit this, when this first came out and everyone was so hard on Hoodie Guy, right? They're like, this is the guy, why is he so... I've seen it numerous different ways. And it would be from reading a story or watching a video. They'd be like, look at this. Or it'd be the way the tone of the music was. Like, that stuff is very suggestive. Like, it really is. And, even this has a creep factor to this video. Like, this isn't, and it is just a guy talking into a microphone. And somebody said, you know, we'd make a good golf commentator, but like, there is a creep factor here. Like, maybe it's because of what we know now, right? I mean, there's so many elements of this.
And here we go. Maddie clearly looks at Jack come near them, but they don't move away or look panicked. Yeah, so this is interesting.
Creepy Crystal, let's get her out. Yeah, good call also. Love that. Shout them out right here. Cat Cinema. Yeah, go give him a sub. I subbed up. I didn't like the video. Do that right now. And this, oh, damn. 99K views. Nice.
Jack comes right near them.
It's like they've like distorted their voice.
Maybe
a lot of channels like
4 feet away. And you can
maybe not. Maybe not, Cinema Cat. I apologize if
see
it's not the case.
That Maddie like looks at him. She takes a glance right here. It looks like she's looking at him. She notices that he came. So they're just talking. She sees that Jack came over. Kaylee's on her phone. She's not bothered. So even if Maddie did say something, oh look, he's coming over or something like that, Kaylee looks like she doesn't care. So he says right near them, and he's not afraid.
Yeah,
that anybody's gonna
thank you for saying that.
Step in if they complain about him, or they're gonna tell somebody, hey, this guy's stalking us, or hey, can somebody help us? It doesn't seem like they did that, which is also very interesting. Okay, next. Switch over to the next angle. Okay, we're gonna go up to the next video. So now we're just gonna see the top left corner. This video. We're gonna get rid of this video angle because there's nothing on it. Right,
it's pretty interesting though, nonetheless.
This is him walking over.
Still,
Maddie takes a glance at him.
With people or not.
They're standing there. Okay, so observe girl's reaction.
Hey Dan, thanks for popping in here, man. Hope you feel better, dude. Seriously, I'll probably holler at you later.
So again, he comes over.
What can I get for you?
They're standing there. Nothing's happening. So they're not moving away. So people said, oh, he's stalking them. They were creeped out by him, or they're scared of him. I don't see that in the video. I'm just following the video. But they are not talking to him, which is also weird. Like,
yeah, Willow
he came with them, but they're not, like...
She's saying to watch. I'm going to do it. Hold on. Let me pop it up here, Willow. I've been seeing a lot of people say, check out these... Hold on. Okay, so, crop truck video. Hold on one sec. Do this here before my buddy gets on here, Christian from Australia. Okay, guess this is what you're talking about. And then she says the 4-minute mark. And then somebody's kissing Kaylee. We'll go about the 3:44 mark here. All right, Willow, what's going on in this video? Big guy is walking to front of truck. About 4 minute, it gets real. This video. Dude, watch 4-minute mark. When Idaho girl kisses Kaylee. So this is 4 minutes on the video. The things she was saying, I'm pretty sure.
I do have a big burrito pork here for you.
Cool. Thank you.
Order 78. Thank you very much.
Where'd the pen go, guys? Where's my pen? How are you guys doing?
How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. Seem to have lost my pen, but that's fine. What can I get for you?
Can I get
Just 2 John Drums?
cheese, mac and cheese, please?
Definitely. I get
Thank you.
and
pork tacos.
Oh yeah. How many pork tacos would you like?
Just come with one.
It's one, but they're like 6 to 7 ounce tacos. They're not like small little street tacos. I normally eat 2, 3 is a lot for me.
So one would be fine if I was getting pasta or mac and cheese too.
Yeah, that's gonna be almost 2 pounds of food.
I better get.
All right. Thank you for that, Willow. And it's really about the same time frame on this other one. I do like this guy's video because he's literally breaking it down.
Conversation. So that is kind of interesting. Why that's not happening. Okay.
Because that just happened in this video.
Jack takes both his hands on his
and you're saying they're looking out, Willow?
So people said he was holding a knife, and he was trying to like hide his knife or something. Not everybody, just some people were saying that. I don't see that. So I don't see any knife, and he took both his hands out, so he's not like holding in his pocket. You can clearly see both his hands are out.
Almost 2 pounds of food.
Okay, then he walks over to the side. Maddie's now at the...
All right, Creepy Crystal. I'm going to pause it. Keister Bunny, also welcome. For the next 30 minutes, though, I am going to be having... He can't stay for long, but I'm going to be bringing him on right now. The Australian, my buddy, from Australia, rather, Christian. I'm going to see if I can pull him in here. I think that it won't be an... Actually, I need to jump in here myself. I don't think that will be an issue. Hold on 1 second. Christian, can you hear me? Christian? Make sure. Let me see. Christian. Let me work on that for a minute. I'll keep playing this video while I do work on that there. Hold on.
Window. And Kaylee's on her phone. She's always on her phone. Okay, Kaylee's friend enters scene. Okay.
Actually, this Creepy Crystal is getting some cheese. It's also. Okay, yeah. So also trying to pay attention to Willow here and looking out in front of a truck. Okay, and everybody's popping here. Thank you guys, appreciate it. As you do come in, please hit the like, guys. Really helps me out. Appreciate everybody for hanging out tonight.
Okay, so now we see
1 5 cheese, 1 basil pesto.
There's a girl right here, right there. She walks into frame, and she looks like she
Idaho girl. She's wearing a Idaho shirt.
recognizes Maddie. I mean, Kaylee, and she walks over right to her, and they say hi's.
She had to pull her up from her phone.
And Jack is still there. It's not like he got scared or left. He's still there. Okay. Next, Maddie kisses, bites, or licks number 9's finger. Yeah, so I don't know if anybody else notices this, but when he goes to give his number or receipt, she either licks his finger or bites his finger, and then she even smiles, and he acknowledges it or something, and they start talking, and she smiles, she laughs. Let's see that again. Look at that. Do a slow motion. He goes in. And Jack is watching this too. He goes to give his number, order number or something. And you can see Maddie kind of like get closer to his hand. I feel like she bites his finger or something as a joke, and then she even like smiles.
People have fallen over.
And he obviously acknowledges it because he says something to her.
Sorry,
and she looks at him.
Talking to Twitch stream. Oh, you're so good. Absolutely, thank you.
Okay. Next, Jack talks to someone for the first time. So a guy number 8 who is possibly number 9's friend. So this is the first time that, just a minute. So this is the first time that we see Jack actually talk to someone. Guy number 8. Here's a number 8 right there. Who is possibly number 9's friend. So this guy, number 8 and number 9 are most likely friends. So you can see Jack talking with them. See, you can see him laugh. Somebody made a remark. It looks like they're both talking. Kaylee doesn't seem to mention to her. Oh, I also want to say that in this time we can see that Kaylee's friend leaves, and what we notice.
Yeah, I've never really paid this close attention. Threads.
Is that
Creepy Crystal,
Kaylee doesn't seem to mention to her friend anything about Jack, because her friend never glances over at Jack. If Kaylee told her friend something about Jack, like, hey, this guy's stalking me and Maddie and he is creeping us out, or something of that nature, the friend would have 100%.
Well, I can hear you.
Over at
Oh,
Jack.
okay, yeah, I hear you.
Said something. Why?
Hey, there we go.
All
cool.
right. Nice. Let me make sure that is. Hopefully that's coming through. Hold on. Say something for me.
G'day, mate.
Nice. I think that is working. Hold on. Christian,
Right,
what is going on, dude? Thank you for being here, man.
Oh, that's okay. Thanks for having me. Happy to fill in a bit.
Yeah, yeah, the time frame was a little bit weird, but glad we could work that out. I know that you were kind of busy today.
Yeah, but that's okay. I've got a little window, so that's fine. So how's everybody doing? How's the stream been so far?
It's been good so far. Yeah, we've been talking about a little bit of Idaho stuff. We're in the middle of doing some super deep, like the video is called Super Deep Analysis. Not super deep, but deep analysis of a grub truck video. The last footage of of Madison and Kaylee, two of the victims from the Idaho 4. The last time they were ever seen alive.
Right. Wow.
And it's actually pretty. I'm seeing stuff from this video I'd never seen before, and it's actually really, really good.
Wow, gotcha. Yeah, you'll have to forgive me. I have not been keeping up on that whole thing. That's such a very complex case by the sounds of things.
It's so complex. That's exactly kind of what we were saying. And I was letting them know that we're gonna go back into that, guys, but we are gonna take a little bit of a break. And I popped up a graphic here that is my man right here, Christian, dude. And yeah, dude, last time we had him on, I just dropped a video. We were talking about shadow people and sleep paralysis, but yeah, dude. First of all, Dan was in the chat. I think he's kind of dipped out. He was kind of passing out. He's been kind of under the weather. And first of all, I'd like to thank you for taking a second out of your day. I know it's literally midday on a Saturday there, for coming on here and hanging out. But yeah, dude, I'd like to talk a little bit more. You've got any more stories?
Oh, well, did you? I was wondering if you got any emails, because you were asking for people to email you their stories. Did anybody come through with any yet?
I didn't get any emails, but I got tons of stories just through the comment section there. You probably saw a lot of those.
We did, yeah.
Yeah, but I didn't get any actual direct emails. I saw some people were going to say they were going to send those, but I didn't.
Yeah, my cousin Connor said he's going to, but he's very busy. He works a lot.
Hey, and make sure he's got the email correct. publiclybuzzed@gmail.com.
Gotcha.
Absolutely.
That's easy. Well, I'll make sure he gets it through to you, because he when I told him about the podcast we did, he was actually quite excited, and he was happy to have his story out there. And I sent him the link, and he thought it was really cool, and he was like, "Oh, I got to email him because I've got a few other stories." Now, I don't feel qualified to give you the other ones because I don't know them as well.
Gotcha.
Well, hey, yeah, because
Christian,
most people have repeated.
Do you have a personal story?
I have never had a shadow encounter ever in my whole life.
Because last time, and Dan both had stories, and yours was actually from a friend.
Yeah, it was a relative. So that particular family has had multiple encounters. Like the two boys in that family, they've both had multiple encounters, and a lot of people get repeated encounters. They seem to take interest in certain individual people for some reason, and it's often people that are going through like hardships, like people that have sickness in the family, or or people that are just struggling in one way or another. It's often, it's very rare that like people that are very happy and everything's going like fine and great in their lives. It's rare that they sort of show up, but they can.
That makes
it's
sense.
Usually people that people that having
right?
People that are abuse victims, people that have like real anxiety issues, someone's really sick in the family and everyone's really stressed out, poverty problems, these sorts of things. Like, people that are stressed out basically seem to attract them, but these are just patterns that I see in, like looking through hundreds of stories of them. This is just a common sort of thing that I see, but it's very, very common. Don't know why, no idea. It's like, I think it's important when you're looking at these kind of things not to attach your own sort of preconceived notions to them. So I try not to say even like definitively what they even are. Like I don't even like to say, they're, I believe they're mostly probably interdimensional creatures of some kind. I'll just say I probably think they are. I won't say, they are interdimensional or they are alien or they are demonic or whatever. I'm just like, I've got a list of traits that I've confirmed to be really common, and that's all I can really give people. And you got to sort of figure out the rest on your own, I guess,
Yeah, and we're exactly like, who's to say what's what, right? What you use the words like alien and demonic, but at the same time, like those can be kind of interchangeable at the same time, depending on who you talk to, right? So
yeah, that's right. Yeah.
And then to your point about like head trauma or a damaged brain or any kind of like real family trauma throughout their life, or just any kind of like bad situation that anybody kind of goes through, just in normal life, what do? They kind of have a coping mechanism, right? So but at the same time, like the argument for me would be, because me and Dan both had a story, you don't have a personal story, like is what we're in. And a lot of the people, even in my comment section, and the people I've even talked to in real life about this, since this has kind of become a hot thing in my brain since our discussion, or is what we're seeing, is it actually real? Even though to the story, to your cousin Connor, that's multiple eyes at once seeing the same thing, that and like you said, they split them up, they're drawing the same thing. But I guess that would almost be the outlier, right? Like I would almost, I want to talk to Connor because because me and Dan, I just have
he does want to. He's keen.
And anybody that comes through the comment section, I almost have just the firsthand situation. To me, it's almost like, is it real? You know what I mean? And my brother's a heavy skeptic, and I'm a little bit of a believer, but I can also poke fun and make fun at the same time. But hell, dude, what I saw and what Dan was talking about, it's very real to me at the time. So I don't know, man. Like there's something to it.
Well, if it's not a real thing, what are the chances that I've come on your show, like we're friends, we've never discussed anything like this.
No, yeah.
And I've been like, hey, I've got a story and this thing happened. I hadn't heard about it. I looked it up online. It was exactly what they described. And but then you guys had confirmed without doing any research of your own before you'd looked anything up. You'd said, oh yes, I'd seen those things myself. I had an experience one night. You both had. And it was exactly sort of the same kind of being that I was describing. It's just
that is pretty wild, though.
It doesn't make sense. Like it has to be something. There has to be something real. If you guys on the other side of the planet have seen the same thing that I was experiencing, you both compartmentalized it and forgotten about it
all across. Yeah, that's true. It was triggered, right? That's a good point.
Well, that's what happens with traumatic memories. We bury them,
That's a good point, actually, Christian. And all across the internet, there's all these stories. Like, and I'm almost playing devil's advocate a little bit here too. I'm almost trying to play Dan's role here because Dan does it really well. But yeah, like, but in real, almost Dan in real time. When we actually had the episode, it was like, wait a minute, holy shit, I've had this happen to me. And I think that's what's happening to a lot of people.
In the middle of being a skeptic.
Yeah, right.
And he's a great skeptic. He's a very logical skeptic.
Exactly. Yeah. I think that's the best way to be, right? Because I mean, I'm kind of in the same boat there, but at the same time, dude, there's a lot of weird shit we 100% cannot, we don't understand. We can't understand. Like, I don't know, man. Like,
I think this particular topic is a special one because it's something that the process that we went through there, like where I said, hey, there's this thing, and you know, this I went through this process of discovering this is common, and then just the fact that you guys had the same experience, like that's something that I've seen so many people go through, because ever since I heard that story, I've told so many people this story. I'll tell anyone this story, and I'll ask anyone, have you ever seen a tall black shadow thing, maybe when you're asleep or maybe out at night or whatever? And I've gotten so many responses, like, and certain people that have, you know, because you mentioned tall black shadow, and they're like, they prick up. They're like, how do you know about that thing? I even had a friend once. Here's an interesting story, actually. I'll give you this story.
Okay.
So when I was living in Sydney, going to uni or college, as you guys would call it, I used to hang out with this bunch.
Oh, like university.
University.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, that's what the Aussies call it. I think the Brits call it that too. So I'm at uni, and I was hanging out with this crew of like, you know, hippie people. They love to do drum circles and hang out on the beach and all that. And I was a little bit of an outlier in that crowd. They were all love and light, and I was too, but I was also into dark things like this sort of stuff, right?
Yeah.
So one of the guys is doing a solo vocal or acoustic guitar set. Like in what was it, like a backyard birthday party or something like that. And he starts singing this song, and this guy's a friend of mine at the time. And he starts singing this song called Tall Shadow. And it's tall shadow, like you're staring at me, you're this and that. It was something about that. It was tall shadow staring at me, so tall, like in my dream, something like that. And I knew exactly what it was. And he finished his set, and I went straight up to him. And I said, hey, Matt, that song is about an experience you had while you were asleep, right? You saw like a big, tall, black, like shadow person, and he was like staring at you, and you felt like frozen. Is that what that song's about? And he looks at me, and he's like, oh, like, what the fuck? What? And he's like, he pulls me aside, and he's like, how do you know about that? What are you talking about? And I'm like, that's a whole thing. And so they're called shadow people. It's you can look it up online. It's a really common thing. It's something I researched. My cousins have had experiences with it too, and it spun him out, freaked my girlfriend at the time right out, because she was real freaked out that I was into this stuff, and then that was just confirming that there was something to it.
Yeah.
And so and he came back to me to get a bit more information later on. He was processing it, but it was that was actually a little bit of a traumatic thing for him, because he was convinced it was his own personal.
Oh, he was just
not personal demon,
trapped.
But personal.
Gotcha. That's actually
he thought it was his own
horrifying.
mind. He thought it was something his own mind was bringing up.
That's horrifying.
And that was sort of, and he was like telling himself that, I think, But then to hear that no, heaps of other people see these things, and not always in their sleep. They're seen out in the world, like, as well.
Yeah, that's actually that's a really crazy thing to think about, because it's like, oh man, just imagine like before, because like right now we kind of live in a time period where like we have the internet. Hell, there's the documentaries about sleep paralysis, but imagine like, back in the day, right? Even before really entertainment was a thing. We're living in a grand age where we can kind of look up anything at our fingertips, but I'm talking even before like television was. Let's go to the 1800s for a second, right? Are you going to tell your husband? You're going to tell your brother? You're going to tell anybody about this? Like, are you going to be that person? It's like, this is just my own personal hell. This is my own. I do have demons, right? Like, I don't know. There's a lot of questions here that could go into a lot of religious aspects, right? Like,
you wouldn't have that network of reports and community people to talk to about, and that people would be up with all sorts of strange ideas about what they could be. For sure.
Imagine you're one of these people. Let's just drop it real quick. Just paint a picture. 1850. Right. And I'm just going to do it in America. Or just 1850 America. Some people, homesteading, trying to make it, hunting. That's how they're making their way. They're doing the old school way. Let's just say it's the old school American family, right? Husband, wife. They got multiple kids. They probably got a shitload of kids, right? Let's just say, I'm going to pick one out. Teenage boy, 18 years old, right? 1850, seeing fucking shadow people. He's not going to tell anybody about that. Probably an over-religious family on top of that. Dude, I could see insanity sparking from stuff like this, because we really do live in a kind of a good age for discussion. We can talk about this stuff, even if it's crazy, you know, even if there's people that are being mocked, there's always going to be somebody that will listen, you know. I don't know, like.
But now there are still people that will never speak. There's still people that it's driving insane right now, for sure.
That's true too.
As you,
that's a good
because there's still those religious people, or there's even secular atheist people that are just, let's say, really stuck into the scientific paradigm, and they wouldn't want to speak out because all their, you know, trust the science friends would tell them they're crazy because that's unscientific.
Exactly. And dude, we've actually, me and Dan have touched on some of the, like, the pyramids in Egypt, right? And some of the scientists that have touched on stuff like that, Graham Hancock, that have for years, decades, talked about stuff that we are now kind of learning about that is a reality, right? Like, these things are a lot fucking older than they want us to believe. And you got scientists that don't want to go in, you know, they're trapped. They refuse to budge. Like, that's actually really dangerous, man. Like,
I think the big problem is with the way some people look at science today, right? Science is a methodology. Okay, science is not a set of proofs. It's not a rule book. It's not a set of rules like a Bible that has to be adhered to. What it is a methodology of investigating the truth. And a part of science is to understand that any understanding you hold of reality today could be proven wrong or expanded upon tomorrow.
Yeah.
Right. So there are certain things we're pretty sure are not going to change, right? We're sure we understand some of the basics of physics and the basics of science, but even some of those things can be expanded upon and developed. Like if we ever figure out, I don't know, hypothetically speaking, anti-gravity technology, which I personally believe has been figured out, but is just being kept quiet in, you know, military and corporate bases and stuff. But that's just me. But let's say we figure out technology like that, or teleportation, or this kind of thing. Those basic physics are going to have to be expanded upon, and that stuff is, according to quantum physics, theoretically possible. So science, if you're a real scientist, you understand that anything we understand right now could be changed. It could be expanded upon. And you also have to understand that there's going to be things that are not yet discovered and not yet understood at all, right? And that's how a true scientist thinks. It's not a rule. It's not a set of truths. It's not a religion.
That's the way to think. That's the best way to think, especially if you're going to call yourself a scientist. You shouldn't be married. I've said it on this channel many times about a lot of the crime stuff. I'm not married to any of this, right? You can't be married to something that's not proven yet. Truly proven yet, right?
That's right.
And, you know, even if we're at a point where we can kind of have like an agreement, right? You find like common ground or something on, like, you know, on a scientific matter. If you're not if you're completely unsure, you don't just marry the idea of this is the age. I'm going back to pyramids here, but this is the age. This has got to be the time frame. Come on, like there's other once more evidence becomes displayed, you have to kind of give it up.
That's right. Yeah,
but
absolutely.
I love the way you're thinking there.
Yeah, well, that's how I think. I see. I'm very, very, very open to alternative history, to extraterrestrial stuff. I think there's way too much evidence that proves that there's alien stuff going on, especially some of the government programs, the things that have been leaked. Sorry, I kind of lost my train of thought there.
I do that often on the show. Publicly Buzzed is perfect show.
That's what I was going to say. I'm very, very into that stuff because I think to have a properly scientific mind, you have to be open to things that you can't, you know, disprove. If there's evidence that says it could be happening, then you have to stay open to it until it's completely disproven as false.
Yeah, no, I think you're right. I think you're absolutely right, man. And dude, like, but you know, to go back to the shadow people and really like the sleep paralysis stuff, like, dude, and I know we kind of talked about it for a second, but what was the name of that documentary? Is it The Nightmare? Does that ring a bell?
Well,
there's a documentary, I believe it was Shadow. It's a shadow people. Well, it's a sleep paralysis documentary, but it goes into that, and it's really. I'm
not sure. I haven't actually seen any documentaries.
Oh, man.
All of my research was just looking at testimonies from other people.
Let me see if
on
that's
forums
the name of it, dude.
and things
This
like
is truly, it's a documentary, but it's freaking, it's scary. The way it's made, it's creepy as shit. Yeah, The Nightmare, dude.
Because you got to remember, it's not always sleep paralysis. Like what? Because these kids that my cousins Connor and Braden and their
Right,
friend,
they
I
were
don't
at a
remember their
skate
friend's
park.
name, I'm sorry. They were completely awake. It was midnight, and you're not going to believe this. You're absolutely not going to believe this. It was in fact Halloween night. It actually it sounds so cheesy and stupid, but it actually was on Halloween. And they have actually seen the same thing a second time in the same location, like a year later. So I won't give you that story. I'll have to wait till he actually gets in touch. But I'm gonna
make sure he
gets
out. Make sure he reaches out because I want to.
If you want to prove that he's real, like prove that he's a real person or whatever, I'll give you his Facebook,
I trust
his
you,
video
Christian.
call,
No.
like, all that stuff.
No, hey, I'll be looking forward to the email. But no, I definitely trust that you're telling me the truth, though.
Oh yeah, I've grown up with him my whole life. He's my youngest cousin. It's me and my brother and him and his brother who are like the 4 cousins in my family.
A lot of people in the chat here are talking about Ouija boards or OG boards. I know them as Ouija boards. Have you ever messed with any of the Ouija boards? Have you?
No, but there is a story from my. I could give you a few just old folk stories from my area if you like. Or we could go real deep conspiracy.
Yeah.
So there's a story that happened with some kids in my high school. This girl actually came to my wedding. I'm still friends with her. Her name's Kat. Her and her friends were the sort of goth girls. They were doing the gothy sort of Wiccan thing. They were like vegan and Wiccan and just all things like that the real edgy lefty people sort of like to do today. They were doing that back in like the early mid 2000s kind of thing.
Okay.
In a rural coastal Australian high school. So they're pretty out there for their time. And they used to play with Ouija boards and get up to stuff like that. And there was an incident where there was a girl that they really, really, really hated. They were upset with this girl for some stupid reason, some teenage girl reason. And they were asking spirits on a Ouija board if they could hurt her and if she could suffer in some kind of way. And the next day she fell down like a staircase and got seriously injured and like was seriously paralyzed for like 10 years before her legs sort of started coming good. Yeah. So that's a story, a local one. That's all I've got on Ouija boards though.
I've got a cool one that actually turns out to be fake. When I was a little kid, and I want, here in America anyways, you can just buy these at they're just sold in toy stores, like in just like the toy section.
Yeah, that's weird as hell. That's super weird.
And so I got one of these as a child, and it was on Christmas Day, no less. And, me, my brother, and my uncle are messing with it, literally because, you just got to open it up real quick. We're right there in front of the tree or whatever. But dude, I'm kind of impressionable because I was younger, but I was like, I can't put a year on it exactly, but I would say 10 to 12, something like that. And right before teens. But Dan, he's about 2 years younger than me. So my uncle, I can't even, in my head, it lasted forever, but who knows? But basically we're all asking it questions and, amping up the questions as we go, but something's happening, right? Something is talking to us through this thing.
Did you feel a physical pull from your hands when you were sliding the thing around?
Well, I will say that I thought I did, but, and
yeah.
My uncle said right that, after a long period of time, and maybe this is kind of cruel even, after a long period of time, finally says, I've been messing with you guys this whole time, and he's been moving it. So that's where I come from on a lot of this stuff, and that's probably why Dan's completely broken.
Yeah, with the Ouija boards, I'm honestly not sure about that sort of thing. If you want to talk real like black magic rituals, it gets pretty dark. Like some of the cults and secret societies that do real dark magic, it's pretty bad what they actually do for those rituals.
I believe in a lot of that stuff, and dude, I'm not even the Ouija board stuff. There's I personally have never experienced any kind of reality from it, but dude, I'm not here to bash that at all. You know what I mean? I respect the possibility.
Yeah.
That's where I am on a lot of this
I've
stuff.
got another funny local story.
Yeah, brother. No. Yeah, pour it on.
All right. So down here, yeah, there's a big surf culture. Not a lot to do on the coastal towns that are a bit more south of the bigger cities, right? So you picture this, like Sydney's probably the biggest city in the country, I think, in Australia. And then about an hour and a half south of Sydney, you've got Wollongong, which is a very like a small kind of local city. That's an industrial city. It's got a big steelworks there.
Mm-hmm.
And then as you go down south of Wollongong, you just get these small coastal towns for like, you know, a few hours down the coast. And when you get into these small coastal towns, which is where I grew up, there's not a whole lot going on. They're beautiful, they're stunning, but there's like very little for the youth to do except surf and maybe skate a bit. And that's kind of about it. Like there's not even any movie theaters around, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Nothing like that. So a lot of the kids get up to a lot of drugs and a lot of nonsense. So I got two wild drug and party stories from the youth culture down here back when I was young. So here's the first one. This one's a local legend.
Okay.
So a guy from my school one time took way too much acid, and for the next, like, I believe it was about 5 years, 4 or 5 years of his life, believed he was a can of Coke, an open can of Coke, and he couldn't tip further than a few degrees in any direction off like the vertical axis because he might spill.
What?
That is not a joke. That is a true story. That happened to a kid from my high school.
Wow. Okay. Now, how much acid do they have acid in Australia? Oh my God.
Yeah, of course they got acid in Australia. What do you mean? Yeah. Got everything down here.
Lord, of course.
Same as what you have.
Of course. Wow.
Not as much fentanyl, though.
Oh,
not
God,
as much of that.
You win.
Someone's pumping you guys full of fentanyl for some reason.
Oh, it's pouring through, boys. These fucking.
I know.
I'm not gonna get political, but yes.
No, but it's weird. That's like the only
weird,
drug
man.
that we don't have that you guys
dude,
do.
you just murdered it. That was the best. Oh, that's hilarious.
For some reason, we don't have it. It's not a thing here.
Wow.
But yeah, everything else, yeah, it is.
Oh shit.
Hang on, my wife's just yelled out something. What was that, gorgeous?
What was that, gorgeous?
Yeah, it's in the hospital. Yeah.
I love that Australian accent.
Fuck off. Fuck off.
I love it. Dude, it's amazing.
Yeah, they will pump you full of fentanyl in the hospital if you're hurt, if you're in pain. They'll give it to you there, but there's not that much of a black market.
Yeah, it's not just like, in everything.
Yeah, no. Yeah. So, yeah, it took way too much acid, turned him into a Coke can. Poor kid, totally disappeared. Sort of reemerged into the world at like 26. Remembered he was a human again.
Wow.
From high school age.
That's a long time. That sucks. That's horrible.
Yeah, it does suck. It's like the best years of his life, as they say, supposedly, and he was a Coke can for all of it.
The best years of his life.
It's a legendary story.
That's amazing. Yeah.
But he had to sleep sitting up. Like his parents had to look after him. The whole thing, man. It was it's full-blown psychosis.
Geez, yeah. What do you even do? Like, what was the day when he was like, "Oh, I think I can sit down here"?
Dude, no, he could sit down. It just had to be upright.
Okay, just make sure his was sitting up super straight.
Yeah, because the opening was on top of his head.
Wow. Wow, that poor dude. Oh my God, dude, that's hilarious. That's insanity. It's what
so
that is.
Fucking bad.
Dude, I don't even know what they would do to that guy in America. That guy would just be shot on the spot. They'd be, nope, sorry.
No, they put him in a home or something over there. I reckon he'd get institutionalized.
Probably.
Sure. I think he might have been actually over here. I think his parents might have taken him somewhere. They did work with him, I know for sure.
I'd start feeding him fentanyl over here now. Right then and there.
Oh, here's the best part. This whole time he had a cocaine, he had a terrible fear of Mentos.
Oh my God! Because it's like I'm gonna explode.
He couldn't eat a Mentos.
Wow! Holy shit, dude! That's absolutely insane.
Yeah. So, and the other story is the story of when a party full of young surfer kids split the top floor of a house in half. Like the like put a split through the second floor. Like, no, the second story floor split all the way down through to the ground level, like opened up like it was fucking Jumanji or something.
What?
Yep. Okay, so the way this
How'd
happened.
they do that?
Okay, so there was a party that was one classic party where parents go out, popular kid invites over shitloads of people, they tell their friends, and the whole thing gets out of hand. It's in the early days of like MySpace, I think. So parents had no idea how to track what the fuck was being organized on this brand new social media thing. And there's like hundreds of kids end up showing up. Kids start going totally berserk. There's a lot of drugs and whatnot going on. The first thing that starts happening is kids start throwing cutlery at like the cutlery drawer and the drawers from the kitchen off the front balcony onto the driveway. And they just start ransacking the kitchen and throwing all the kitchen, like baking trays and all that shit just out onto the driveway. Then that escalates into the couches and the furniture being tossed over the balcony onto the driveway. And then like a mosh pit starts to happen at the top of the stairs on the second floor. And one kid, as that's happening, one kid like stops everyone. He's like, hey, guys, look what I realized. If you do this right here, and he like leans and jumps in rhythm, and they all realize the wall starts rocking back and forth a little bit. And he's like, look at this, look how cool this is. And then of course, like 50 kids jump on this one spot and start rhythmically like rocking it back and forth, like boom, boom, boom. And the wall starts rocking more and more, and the fucking floor splits in half, and the wall splits like up the wall. And they cause full-blown structural damage to this house.
That's
from, like,
fucking
this mosh pit
crazy.
yeah.
That's insane,
so that's another famous
dude.
story. Yep. Yeah, that's a real thing that happened. That's an absolute true story.
Wow.
And they found some like weak point in the framework or something.
Yeah.
They put their weight and got the right rhythm, and the whole thing just wobbled itself apart.
That's fucking wild. I can only imagine, like, whoever had to come and like either look at that or rectify that or own that or
Oh, dude! I imagine being the kid who organized the party and then seeing all this.
Lord.
Like it was, by the sound of it, it was just so out of hand. He wouldn't have had a chance of.
That sounds also legendary.
Yeah, I know. It sounds like a movie or something.
It
right?
does,
Fucking,
man. That's
like
amazing.
super bad or something.
That's wild, dude. Fuck. That's crazy as hell.
So there you go. There's two.
Those two great
fun-
stories. The first one is absolutely
local
insane,
stories.
dude. Like, what the hell?
Oh, the Coke can. Kid.
Coke
Yeah,
can
that's
boy.
bad.
Like, I don't even know
That
what
is
to
bad.
call him.
You heard of Dogman? That's like a cryptid, like creature thing that's commonly reported around the world. The Dogman.
I'm not sure.
Yeah, right. It's like just picture a werewolf basically, but
Okay.
yeah, people call it Dogman. It's something that's reported really commonly, like the shadow people. You can look it up if you like, but there's another thing where a bunch of kids were out having like a party on the edge of a cliff, like hanging over one of the beaches, and it's like a forest comes to the edge of a cliff over a beach, and they supposedly saw this Dogman thing. And I've got some friends that are like, fuck, what are they now? 21 or something now. They're in the same year at the local high school with these girls and guys that saw this thing. A similar thing with the shadow person. They saw this thing show up, they got freaked out, ran away, looked it up, found out it was a real creature, and that's sort of become a bit of a famous story around too.
Wow,
But
yeah.
I don't know too much about that one, but I do know there was local kids that saw a Dogman thing, and that was like somewhat recent in the last like 5-10 years.
Yeah, and I'm sure you know, I'm from West Virginia, and here we have the local one, the Mothman.
Yeah, I know all about Mothman. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and in America, there's a lot.
Point Pleasant, is it something like that?
Point Pleasant. That's about, I think, 2 or 3 hours from where I'm at. Which, West Virginia's a very big state, but yeah, man, like, and around America, there's a lot of little things like that, and honestly, when you do start looking around the world at all of like
every country has
it. Yeah, dude, every country has something.
They
like
have some
that.
kind of weird creature.
Throughout history, right? Like throughout, like, back to the, the native people of the day, these legends carry throughout the ancestry, but like, there's always new encounters, or there's always new stories, or there's something to all that stuff. I believe it, man.
Yeah, I do think there's different critters in different parts of the world, and I do think some of them are able to pop in and out interdimensionally.
Joanne M, my friend,
There's
saw
someone knows Dogman.
A dogman twice.
Hey, there you go, Joan. Thank you very much for that. If anyone in the chat's seen a dogman or a shadow person, if anyone's new to this topic, if you've ever woken up sort of in bed feeling frozen, like you couldn't move, and seen a black shadow at the foot of your bed or in your doorway or anything, or maybe seen them out in the world, or maybe even felt like you had woke up and had a black shadow thing on your chest, compressing your chest, and you were stuck underneath it. That's another common one. They often look like they're wearing a hat and a coat. Sometimes they're just regular human shape. Sometimes they're like in a hood. Sometimes they look like an old lady, like an old witch hag thing. And sometimes they're missing. Yeah, and sometimes they're smoky and floating around, and they might even be missing their legs, or they might even be very short. But usually they're very tall. And they're solid black, completely solid black, usually with glowing eyes of either red or green. Sometimes yellow, but that's very, very rare. And yeah, so if anyone's experienced that, that's a really common thing. That happens to people all over the world. There's people like that I know that have experienced it that had no idea that it was a common thing, and they explained it to me, and I was like, oh, that's something I research all the time. You can look it up, and it freaks them the hell out every time. Like poor Steve and Dan had to go through the other day on the podcast.
Nah, man. It's right here in chat. Seabolt versus
but remember, they don't always show up. They don't always show up in sleep paralysis. That is the most common thing, but not always. Like my cousins, their experiences, they saw it out in the world, just free roaming, as they call it in the research community.
Yeah, right here in the chat, Seabolt versus the World, just as you were saying, I suffer from sleep paralysis and a few times have seen things. That's the most, it's common for me. It's almost the unusual part is to see it with with multiple people. That's where you have like witnesses, and that's really cool. Anybody that hasn't seen the last video that I made, I broke it out into like a video. It's in my videos, but also the live that Christian appeared on the first time. He mentions that his aunt broke up his cousin, and was it a friend or was it another cousin, into different rooms? And, what did you guys see? And they drew basically the same thing. Which is pretty wild.
That's right. Yeah. Yeah, they did. And I'd love to get those pictures too. If I can ever get those pictures off, I doubt they'd still have them, but if I can find them, I'll ask if they saved them. See if I can get them and get some photos.
It'd be cool. Yeah, and anybody in the chat right now, publiclybuzzed@gmail.com. Give me your stories. 100%. I'm super intrigued by this. I love stuff like this anyways. And yeah, man, I love it. And Christian has been fun as hell to talk to, man. And first of all, thank you for taking time out of your day, because it's midnight, and I know there's people all around the world that watch this, and there's a lot of people on the East Coast and West Coast, and there's about a 3-hour time difference there, but there's about a 14-hour time difference between you and I, my friend, and I really appreciate you for taking time out of your Saturday to come on here, man.
Oh, thanks very much, mate. Thanks for having me. You're very, very, very welcome. I've got a couple more minutes if you want, but yeah, I'm good if you're good.
Cool. Hey, well, I'll tell you what, if you would like to keep talking for 2 seconds, that would actually be perfect, because I don't have Dan to watch my back tonight, and we usually go pretty late. I want to go upstairs, get a beer, use the bathroom, and when I come back, we'll do it. We'll go do it, until you got to go.
Okay, cool. Yeah. No worries, brother.
Yeah. So right now, dude, you're rocking and rolling Publicly Buzzed. Keep it going, dude.
All right, no worries.
I'll be right back.
Guys, so I might just go through some of the responses in the chat. Hey,
perfect. Keep them honest, guys. Love you all.
Okay, so now we got him out of the way. Welcome to Publicly Buzzed with Christian. All right, that's right. It's me, your host with the most. Let's get into some comment replies. No, I'm kidding. I'm not going to do that shit. Okay, everyone. So we got Shadow Dog. Someone seen a shadow dog, perhaps? I have actually heard of that, but actually that's something I haven't mentioned. That is a common thing that comes up in shadow reports, is see a shadow animal, like a cat or a dog, usually before they see the tall being. That's a really good thing. Thank you for mentioning that, because you just reminded me. There's a whole thing about, shadow animals sort of, and they usually come along with the tall shadow beings. We have someone that had a dream of Saturn. Saturn is very powerful. His presence in a dream is very okay. I think you mean Satan. That would be terrifying if you had a dream of Satan. That sounds like a very scary dream. Threads has had a witch hag encounter. A witch hag came down on you one morning. That sounds terrifying. And you jumped out of bed and left the room and didn't go back into the room for hours. Yeah, a lot of people can get really shaken by those, especially the one on your chest, the hag, because it's a physical thing. You feel compressed and you feel it like pinning you down physically. Someone doesn't believe in Saturn because they're pagan. That's cool. All right, what else? Sam has had a shadow person follow them around. Followed you for 2 years, had a hat and a black coat. So that's a classic hat man. Now, I'm guessing, Sam, by following you around, you don't mean it literally followed you everywhere you went. I'm guessing you had repeated encounters with it. That's common. A lot of people seem to get attached, or they get attached to you, and you'll have repeated encounters with the same thing. That's what's happened to my poor cousin Connor. He's gotten somewhat used to it, actually, from the sounds of things. He's pretty comfortable with it now.
Do you want to share some of the ways that you've actually dealt with them before? Some of the stuff that you've told me about?
Oh, there's some, yeah, so, okay, that's a good idea. My wife Sasha's just suggested that I give some tips on how to actually deal with them. So this is something I've learned in my research as well, and something I've actually done myself a little bit. So if you have an encounter with one, if you are able to move, if you can move or speak, scream at it, run at it, throw something at it, actually go towards it. Now, believe it or not, they do seem to be physical because people have touched them, and everyone that's touched them says they feel like sandpaper. They feel very rough. But at the same time, they are very scared of people. And if people show any kind of sign of confidence or strength or aggression towards it, they're very scared. So I think that's why they show up in the sleep paralysis state, because they know for sure you're going to be paralyzed for a few seconds and they can do whatever they do, which I think is feed off your energy or do some kind of psychic thing with you, connecting with you psychically. So if you show strength and show confidence, that's the best thing you can do. You can also cleanse spaces by I wouldn't say burn sage and do all these traditional hippie rituals. The best thing I would say to cleanse a space and keep those things away is make your own energy big. Make yourself big in your home. Like play music, sing out loud, run around your house, do you and do whatever it is that you like doing, and just do it big and loud and proud, and make your energy big and confident and strong. Because they seem to prey on fear, shyness, weakness, anxiety, this sort of stuff, right? Yeah, so they're sort of the best bits of advice that I can give to sort of protect against them. And you can sort of cleanse your place from them, and that's the best way to do it. Fill it up with your own energy, positive, happy, strong, confident energy. And yeah, and that's the best way to do it. All right, let's have a look at some other. So someone had a ghost experience.
Dude, thank you so much, bro. You're holding it the fuck down.
Oh, you're right,
dude,
brother.
You're natural. Hey, you're like he's a natural entertainer, man. Like,
yeah, I've performed my whole life.
He knows
live music, wrestling, the whole thing. Bit of theater here and there.
He knows what's going on.
Yeah, we got some good replies.
Dude, I love it. Every time we start talking about this, like people start, I mean, it registers, man. Like, I love it.
Someone had a multi-dimensional being going through the walls. It's about 8 to 9 feet tall and hid behind objects. Yep, that's they can do that. There's some reports where they can go through walls. I've heard that quite a bit. But also, I know, by the way, I said my cousin had a second encounter with this thing at the skate park. One part of that story I remember for sure is it showed up at the same skate park, but this time it stopped and it actually banged on a wall and made a noise. So that sort of proved that it was like a physical thing. It could physically interact. It went bang, bang, bang on like a little mesh cage over a window on a little shed thing next to the skate park.
Yeah, everyone talking about something. That's crazy.
So we got all sorts of cool replies. Dude, you got to keep a hold of this live stream because I'm so sorry, guys. I couldn't keep up. There's so many stories going on.
I love it. Like you keep them going, man. It's great. Like it truly
Sam's
starts.
niece,
It's what
for
happened
one.
to us live last time. We really in real time was like, holy shit, wait, I've got a story. Like,
Oh, here's a good one. Chosen Rosen has asked, is there a story behind Wolf Creek? Yes, there is. Wolf Creek is based on a real serial killer. Actually, this is right up your alley. You might want to do a video on this guy, bro.
I've seen the movie.
Yeah, it's based on a real guy. His name was Ivan Milat. He kidnapped and killed a whole bunch of backpackers, like a bunch of backpackers.
And that's Australia, right?
Yeah. And it was pretty similar to how it's depicted in the movie. Like he kidnapped him and took him off into a forest and tied him up and like just shot him. Basically, I think he might have tortured some of them a bit or something awful. But yeah, that's what Wolf Creek is based on. It's based on the killings of Ivan Milat. Go look him up.
I will. That sounds like perfect content actually for the true crime community here. We talked about this privately, but I feel like the true crime community and almost like the, I don't know what you'd want to call it. Like it's the paranormal or the weird or, because it goes into so many different directions, whether it's aliens or ghosts or shadow people or sleep paralysis or, whatever you want to lump it all into. Strangely, it still fits together. Like, I feel like the communities merge.
Yeah, because I think it's all people who think in a similar way. There's people that it's people that are looking for things outside of the normal, commonly known world. They're people that believe, or I think understand correctly, that there's other beings that are, a little bit outside of our, what you call like our realm of perception, the world that we can perceive, the world that we can access. They're either from some part of the world that we can't get to, like from inside the world, or teleport in, or they're from like, it's like caves or some place that we don't know about, or there's definitely creatures that most, that current science is not aware of, does not understand, and there's weird, like interdimensional stuff happening, and then it's anyone who's open to exploring that possibility that there's more to the world than the mainstream would have you believe.
Exactly, dude. And there's some, I think it's France that has a book that is published there that is, it may be some other countries, but I know it's not published in the United States, but it's about aliens and how like they actually kind of discuss it in a different tone than the US. You ever heard that?
Discuss what in a different tone?
Like UFOs and such, like contact.
In the US, it's seen as, so in the US, you guys have the most negative view of aliens.
Right.
Like you guys are the ones who see them the most as an enemy. Yeah,
because like I know in France, in France, there's a book that is like literally written in French that like isn't published in English, and like they're basically saying no, this is fucking real, and like and it's like scientists and like it's not just like just somebody off the street saying this shit, but like they won't even publish it in the US, like.
Yeah, I think that's because they're starting to now. They're starting to leak stuff out and have, the Air Force pilots come out and say,
True.
we saw.
It is changing now, you're right.
But I think that's because your government has the most to do with the cover-ups and the secret programs and stuff that are going on. I think that's why. So they want to keep you guys as far away from that trail. And also the other thing is, even the people that do believe in aliens, in America, you guys have the most people who believe they're a threat. In other countries, there's a much more positive view of a lot of ETs. Like some species, like the reptilians and stuff, are seen as bad pretty much everywhere. If you're into the different species, like the greys, the reptilians, the felines,
when I was in college, I read one of David Icke's books.
I've read a few of those.
And, I don't know what to make of it, man. I can go down. It's the same thing I was kind of talking about earlier with the video we were watching before you came on here. It's so easy to, and this is in so many different things. This can be the, skeptic side of it or whatever, but I read, I don't remember exactly which book I read, but I'm sure they're all pretty similar, but I like it's enthralling. I love to read it. I love to even think about the possibility of all of this stuff. But when I get done with that, I can't actually come to terms with that being any kind of possibility. Not that level of it. And I'm not saying that even like the stuff we have discussed previously, the shadow people, I can come to terms with that more than I can some of the stuff David Icke says.
Right. I understand that because it's really big. You got to remember, bro. Like
he's talking about them changing in front of his eyeballs. You would be able to see that on camera.
Then you got to get into liquid crystal polarization videos.
Whoa! What did you just say to me?
Well, there's videos of people shifting. There are videos of people doing that.
I've seen some videos.
That is actually a whole thing that people
I've seen some videos,
online.
But I've never seen a convincing video.
No, that's fair. There's the eye ones. There's a lot of ones where the eyes go.
I've seen those too.
Yeah. But I'd agree.
Hey, you know what would be fun, Christian? It would actually be fun to like dig up a bunch of those videos and like go through those. That'd be fun.
That would be really fun because there's a bunch of them.
Dude, we're gonna have to make a show of that
over the years.
That would
it's always like celebrities and stuff. Katy Perry's had a bunch of good ones.
I've seen those,
like the
dude.
Queen's had a bunch.
Hey, I've gotten deep in some of that Twitter shit. Like I've seen them, but dude, even after I watch them, like I want to watch those with you and even Dan. I think it'd be really fun, dude. I think because I know exactly what you're talking about. But yeah, I think that would be. I think that'd be a dope ass show just to like go back and forth on like because it seems like we're in a little bit of different boats on that one.
I'm not completely convinced, but I was just saying I think it's more likely than not that there are lots of ET species. They are very advanced, and yes, I would say they are aware of this solar system and probably have something to do with it. I think that's way more likely than them not being around and not being. I think life is the norm in the universe, and I think it's way more common than people think. Like if the universe is as big as they say it is, and as old as they say it is, which I think it's probably something similar to that, or if anything, way bigger and way older, basically infinite. And we haven't been around that long as a species. We have barely just begun to develop on the grand scheme of how old the universe actually is. And it's that big, like I'm sure you've heard the argument that if there's multiple trillion, bazillion planets, basically infinite planets and galaxies out there, that what are the chances that none of those other planets have developed life? I'd say that is very low. The chances would be very low. I'd say it's much more likely.
You're right. No. You're making a really good point.
Life would develop.
Christian, you're making a really great point there, actually.
I've gone through this just logically.
I will say this. You
actually, just my last point. Sorry to cut you off before I forget. My last point is if it's as old as they say, then there's been civilizations. So if it's that old and there have been other civilizations develop elsewhere, then surely some of them happened way back near the beginning and have been around for the whole time. And we've only just started to develop now.
Yeah.
So I think it's somewhat naive to think that there's not tons of them that have developed to the point where they can teleport around space and stuff like.
And I have even said that, like, I think that we've probably been here before. Like, I think that we've probably relived this. We've probably, not exactly literally, but probably we've relived as a civilization. We've been here before. Something has happened cataclysmically and destroyed everything and everything. You know how the earth and the world and it just takes everything over. We've
I think there's been previous
over and over again
as well.
I think that too, man.
Mm-hmm.
And actually, you kind of expanded my thinking literally just in what you just said, because when we was coming off the David Icke thing from the lizard people thing, I was pretty much just thinking almost purely. I wasn't thinking in the element of like ancient alien, like you actually expanded my thinking to where it made a lot more sense.
Well, that's the idea. If you really look into what the ancient African cultures talk about them, so here's the main thing that gives the whole reptilian lizard people thing credit legs, right? The theory has legs because all these ancient cultures all over the world talk about humanoid standing up snake people that were super advanced and either taught the people special things or were they like slave masters. So in Africa,
did we lose them, Chris?
Both of them actually. You have what's that?
Oh, sorry, you went out just for a second. You're back. You're good.
Sorry, yeah. So the ancient African cultures have the Chitahuri. They're ancient legends of, tall snake people who came down from the stars. It says this, and taught the people skills and technology and taught them how to hunt and make spears and stuff. Sorry, I've got a phone call coming in, but I cannot answer that. Can you still hear me?
Yeah, I got you.
Yes. So not just that African tribe. You've got the ancient Nepalese and Tibetans had the Nagas, the Naga, who were same thing. Advanced, super wise snake people, reptilian people who taught the people things and were sort of the lords of the land. You got the ancient Sumerian gods who are sometimes described as snake people. You've got all over the world, in the ancient world, you have stories from different cultures that weren't communicating with each other. You have stories of very advanced reptile people who were either in charge or teaching the humans things. And so that's one of the main things that gives it legs. And it's not supposed to be like there's a secret breed of, lizard men that live, in a secret tower and they run the Illuminati. It's more, the theory is more that they're an ancient alien race that had something to do with early humanity, and they're sort of still keeping an eye on us. And some people think they might be having secret interactions with governments and militaries and royals and stuff.
Gotcha. No, and and
So
a lot
that's
of that would,
the basic theory.
Yeah, what we're gonna do is in the future we're gonna that'll probably be the next show that I probably pull together whenever we have you back on, Christian. I want to pull together some. There's enough of it out there, I think, that we can pull together where we can watch videos and
we could go through all the different races.
Discussion.
That's just one.
I think that'll be cool.
Yeah, that's just one alien race. There's all sorts of different ones, and there's different lore around all the different races. And I'm not even saying I believe 100% they exist. I've just looked into them all very, very deeply.
Right.
And that's the reptilian sort of theory.
That's what I like, honestly. Here on Publicly Buzzed in general, even on all the true crime stuff that we do, that's really where I'm at, man. I like to have the discussion. And even if we're on different ends of the fence, like that's okay. You know what I mean? Like, but
oh yeah, dude.
But at the end of the day, usually when people have a discussion, usually end up just it could be.
We usually end up finding some kind of common ground.
Exactly.
In the middle,
That was exactly the word I was looking for. Common ground. Yep. Nailed it.
All right, mate. I might let you go.
Hey, dude, Christian, thank you again, brother, for coming on here. Have a good Saturday, brother, and I'll be in touch soon.
No worries. Thanks for having me, guys. Thanks to everyone in the chat. You guys are great fun. Thanks for everything. Have a great day.
Thank you, dude.
Well, good night to you guys, I guess.
Later, bro.
All right. See you guys. Bye.
All right. Yeah. I appreciate the hell out of that. Thank you for coming through here. Yeah, he's probably going to become a regular on here. I love Christian, man. My buddy from Australia. I have another channel. I have a channel that I'm a big wrestling fan. I have a wrestler. That's where I've met that guy, and he's always been cool as hell, and I love it. So we're about to dive back into, guess what? And back into this truck, and back into the grub truck video. That's what we're about to. I'm a little bit more drunk. A lot of people in here right now. If you're hanging the hell out right now, hit that like. What are you doing? If you ain't hit the like, let's get that son of a bitch to 100. Let's grip for just 2 seconds before I hit play here, because this is deep analysis. I've been drinking heavily before this. All the new people that are in here. Pookie, thank you for coming in here. Yeah, Christian, thank you so much. I love it, man. Thank you, brother. Appreciate it. 14 hours in the future. Christian D'Amico from Australia coming through for the show. Thank you. Yeah, please sub up if you haven't. Appreciate that. And yeah, share this out. YouTube really enjoys the hell out of that. New to the channel, Angelique Darkness, love the name. New to the channel, and if you do true crime and aliens, I'm going to like this channel. Yes, usually Friday nights it starts with a little bit of true crime and then dives a little bit into that stuff. And then yeah, usually during the week you get a lot more true crime. But yeah, I think you'll like it here. Yeah, Gina from I have another channel. It's a wrestling channel. And I met him there. He's a wrestling fan, and that's how we kind of met up. That's actually what he's about to head out right now to do a little bit of wrestling. And yeah, he's a good dude. He's fun. He's fun to talk to. So yeah, let's get into this motherfucking grub truck video. Let's go.
I did Kaylee not mention anything. So
all right, anybody that's new here we're a little bit deeper into it. So and yeah, Willow, I hope you're still here. Yeah, everybody's still here. And yeah, 1, 2, a little bit drunk, me too. Oh, Gina, what are you doing? You got to hit that thing. Oh, see, he knows. That's literally what happened. That's exactly what happened. Thank you, Cindy. Appreciate it. Everybody loving it. That's what I'm talking about. Thank you. 199 super chat. Cheers, Steve. Thank you. Cheers to you too, Creed. Thank you. You always come through. You're a beautiful human being. I know that. And a member. Look at the clashing long necks up there. Love it. You guys make a Friday night fun. And Gina becoming a publicly buzzed member. Level buzzed and confused. Thank you, Gina. I appreciate that. That's dope as hell. All right. So yeah, just to catch up just for a second, we were watching this grub truck video. And this dude, let me plug him again here. This is from Cat Cinema. Grub truck video deep analysis, Idaho 4. And he's getting pretty deep though. He's slowing it down. He's got numbers on these people. Oh my God, look at this. No change, no more coming through. Also becoming a member. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. All you guys have always been coming through here. Love it, guys. Thank you. Almost 100. Two more likes. We're right there. Man, we just pumped this son of a bitch up. I just got buzzed up. Australia just came all the way through from the future. What other shows got Australians coming through from the future? Nobody. Thank you. Seriously. Oh my God, Sudi, it's getting wild. Y'all done got wild now. Another member coming through. Thank you guys so much. One away from 100. One away from 100. Kill it. Yeah, that is a membership. That's a level. Buzzed and Confused is the membership level. There's many membership levels, but that is one of my favorites. Thank you guys so much. Appreciate it. There it is. 100. I love it when it's perfect. 100 viewers and 100 likes. Perfect. Bam. Exactly. Seabolt versus the world. Thank you, everybody, for hanging out. Yeah, again, we're about, and it's going up. I love it. You guys are crazy. This is what I'm talking about. Yeah, this is about to get wild. We're about to get back and got to get wild. Not as wild as we want it to be. We're about to get back in this grub truck video. And I'm not going to lie, this thing is, I'm seeing stuff in the slowdown of this and literally people explaining it in chat more than I've ever seen before. So it's crazy. And yeah, man, love from fucking Aussies, right? Excuse me. And yeah, I've been being told over and over again to go back and look at some of this grub truck stuff. Wow, Timmy's telling me to, well, I can't shotgun it. I've already opened it. But I'm already a little buzzed up, so and it's my last beer, but I will drink it faster than usual. Let me go ahead and put that up there. But I've never shotgunned a beer on camera. That will be coming, but this is literally my last Devil's Backbone here. That was a big drink, though. Let it be known. Let it be known. I wish Dan was here, though. Dan done passed out on me. Dan is under the weather. Anybody that's popping in also. Right here, Lex Luthor just got here. Welcome, Lex Luthor. Thank you for popping in. Let's watch a little bit of this video. Let's make sure my audio is still good. I love that everybody kept hanging out during the sidetrack there, because I you know, invited him on. I was excited, and you guys seem to love Christian. It's awesome, man. Appreciate it, guys.
If you look at this whole interaction between the friend and Kaylee, this is when she comes in. You can see them talking. They hugged. And she's not looking over at Jack. Jack is right there. They're just talking. Like, I would think if a girl is creeped out by some guy and her friend comes over.
He was hanging out in the chat earlier. He should be okay. He just passed out on us.
Like, hey, look, this guy's right there. He's freaking stalking me and Maddie. He's freaking us out. Blah, blah, blah. Like, can you go and get help or something of that sort? Hey, can you stay with us or can you leave with us? So that doesn't happen. And they're standing here talking until she leaves. Yeah, she walks off. Jack is still there. Okay. So number 9 lightly touches Maddie on shoulder as he grabs his.
I will say this, Sam pointed this out earlier. There's a dude back here in the black that has literally never moved. But I've, like, some of these people in here, I guess, I mean, there's so many characters. You know what I mean? Like, it's a little hard to grasp everything that's happening.
She seems to acknowledge it, but doesn't say anything. Okay, so here we go. He's grabbing his food, and then he lightly touches her on the shoulder. And as soon as he does this, she looks up at him, And she sees that he leaves, and he's out. Okay. Okay, number 9 and number 8 leave simultaneously, but why in different directions?
Thanks, Creed.
So, it looks like number 9 is friends with number 8, because throughout this whole time, they were kind of talking with each other, they were in the scene together. But then, once number 9 gets his food, and number 8 sees that, he kind of number 8 leaves in a different direction than number 9. Why? And you can even see number 9 kind of right here stops, and he looks back. They were number 8 went.
This is freaking me out too.
That's what happened.
Like,
and you can see that also. You can see that Jack.
there's too many people acknowledging each other here.
Notices number 8 left. You can see right here they're talking.
And then you said a Mountain Dew?
And then once he's out, Jack glances over to the right. And he's like, "Hey, where'd he go?" And then
He
it
even
looks like
touched
Jack
her shoulder. He
says
touched
something
Maddie's
to number
shoulder
9.
there.
I don't know what's going on here. And then number 9 just leaves. That's that. Looks like Jack is talking with the tank top guy. Okay, so we saw Jack speak with the number 8, and now we can see him start talking with the tank top guy. So he is conversing, he's talking with people. Like, he's not standing in the back in the hoodie right here or something and just sitting back and observing everything. He is like, he's open to conversation, and he, doesn't mind being on camera, I guess, because he's just standing there. He knows there's cameras, and he's conversing with multiple people now. It wasn't just number 8.
I think we solved the damn crime. Who is this fool right here with no pants on, with no jacket on? Look at everybody. What is happening?
Now
there's always one of those guys.
The tank top guy.
The tank top guy.
Okay, it looks like Jack is talking with the tank top guy. Kaylee on her phone for a while.
Willow?
Is she ordering Uber?
I will say these fucking silhouettes in the back here, these black just shadows. I mean, they've been here since the beginning. They haven't moved.
So Kaylee's always on her phone. I wonder what she was doing this whole time.
They
Maybe
just
she was
stay there in that
ordering Uber
position.
or something. No idea. Okay, Joe. So Joe is this guy right here. Joe and One Hair joins in conversation with Tank Top and Jack. So Joe and One Hair, this is One Hair. So all 4 of them are now talking. Tank Top.
Look at how distorted this dude's face is right here. Talking about shapeshifters. What the fuck?
Jack, Joe, and One Hair. So they're all conversing. You see them all laughing, they're talking, all making conversation.
Yeah, I see that, Sam.
Okay. Maddie exclaims something to Kaylee. Kaylee acknowledges it. So this is where you can see she gestures towards Kaylee right here, and Kaylee finally looks up and she says something back. Okay, Jack and Tank Top says something. Okay, so here we go. They're still all talking. 4 of them talking. Maddie's back with Kaylee. Back to the window. Okay, what's interesting? Here is Jack and Tank Top. Let's move this.
Concepts are legit, bro.
Jack and Tank Top says something to each other and Jack laughs. Okay. So you can see them say something once the Tank Top gets his food. And as he's leaving, Jack laughs or giggles, whatever.
No, they're actually pretty scrawny.
We also notice Jack and Joe starts talking one-on-one now. Okay, so after the Tank Top guy leaves, you can see Joe and Jack get in the conversation. They're talking.
I mean, it also does feel like what, an after bar situation would feel like. And again, it's so easy to overanalyze
This guy's hand out of his pocket. They're conversing. They're very close to each other.
Extra slaw? Is that...
Maddie talks to tank top guy.
Rachel Rage. Why is literally everything that has to do with this case just feels effing weird or off in one way or another? Yet I can't always put my finger on exactly what. It's always something. It's endless. Like, nothing fully really makes a lot of sense, right down to the most graphic details, unfortunately. Like, nothing. Paranormal Shape popping in here. What's happening?
Okay, Maddie talks to... Maddie talks to Tank Top, but he seems to be ignoring whatever she's saying. Okay, now we see Tank Top come back. I think he forgot to grab something. And you can see Maddie talking to him. Look close.
Extra slot.
She's saying something.
No, it's not charged. It's just a modifier.
Says something again. And then he even leaves. And she's saying something.
I mean, they're obviously like kind of talking about how he's not wearing any warm clothes, the way he was doing that praising thing. That's not that weird to me. Like, the over analyzing of every little thing's what actually sucks, is because like some of it's not that weird. You know, to Sam's point in chat here, she's pointing out these people in the background. This person, this shadow right here, has literally never left this spot. Like, I'm not saying that's illegal or that's bad, but he has. I mean, everybody else is shifting and moving. Are these people waiting on food?
Jack does the I am not worthy to Tank Top. Maddie looks at Jack.
Rich buddy.
This is
song.
where we
I don't
notice
even,
that
that's the career.
she's talking to the
Rich
Tank
buddy.
Top.
Thank you, sir.
It's not charged.
This is when Jack
It's just a modifier.
does the I am not worthy.
How's your night going? Of course we do.
And as he's doing that, you can see Maddie look over at Jack. She saw him do that. So that piqued her interest. She looked over. And this guy's finally leaving again. And then Joe and Jack go back to talking.
Shadow hoodie guy.
Okay, now we see Maddie glances over at Jack and Joe again. So again, you can see that Maddie looked at them. Jack is smiling with Joe.
Chicken taco.
And she looks away. Okay, this is where both Jack's hands are out of his pocket. People were saying something about him hiding a knife in his pocket. Yeah, so right here we see Jack take out both.
Hey, that's one thing. Rachel Rach coming through with all dark figures in the back have white shoes. Every fucking one of them. Now, even that right there, Jack has white shoes. Kaylee has, Maddie has black, but none. Even to your point though, everyone, all these dark figures in the back are sporting these white kicks.
So I saw a lot of people saying something like he was holding a knife, he was hiding a knife,
right.
He was trying to keep his hands inside, but he's clearly taking his hands out and they're above his head or by his head. I don't know, there's a knife. I don't think so personally. Then he puts his hands back. Okay, next. Joe gives a small pat at Jack's back. So then, here we go. You can see Joe pat him on the back. Having a good time.
Simmer down now. Simmer down now. Simmer down now.
Kaylee's still on her phone. Jack stands with his arms crossed out of his pocket again. So we come here again, and Jack takes both his hands out of his pocket. Right there. Next up, Kaylee vapes. So we see that she takes out her vape.
He's breaking it down. Everything here. This is crazy.
Takes a hit. Okay. Okay. Kaylee whispers something to Maddie. Is she telling Maddie to grab someone's food because it's funny? So
Oh
You
god,
see right
yeah.
here?
Let's get a DoorDash run going real quick. Gonna get that called up,
Kaylee
folks.
whispers something in her ear.
I was desperate.
And as soon as she whispers,
Never use like a phone.
Maddie makes some gesture, and Kaylee laughs. Maddie does something that makes Kaylee laugh hard. Here we go again. Whispers something that she thinks is funny. This guy's getting over here, coming over to grab his food. And then Maddie's looking at him, takes his food and leaves.
Billy, what's going on? Thank you for
And then
popping
she
in
like
here.
puts her hand down.
Appreciate it.
Or she says something to the guy
Pancakes.
serving food, and then that makes Kaylee laugh.
Too prepared, Derek.
Maddie keeps going for people's food, so we can see that she keeps trying to grab other people's food, or she's just fooling around.
Fuck yeah.
Looks like Jack is talking to someone off screen. Maddie makes a hand gesture towards whoever Jack is talking to. So now we look at Jack right here.
Rich, I'm down. Let's go.
Here's a little dance, and then he looks over.
Let's go to the
And it
fucking
looks like
grub
he's
truck.
looking this way,
Get a smoke sesh going.
and we can even see
Come to the bar.
Maddie. She's gonna also look there,
Thing out.
and she's gonna point
Going to detective mode.
like, "Hey, you." Something.
Sir, you're gonna have to leave.
We can also see that Jack's also
Yeah,
looking in the same
probably.
direction.
You probably shouldn't have come. I know
He's saying
something's
something.
not right.
He's motioning something with his hands. So there is somebody there, but we don't know who it is. Kaylee doesn't seem to care. Kaylee's just always on her phone. Okay, so both of them are talking to the same person, whoever that is, Maddie and Jack. Okay, Jack points at Maddie or Kaylee.
Ooh, rich buddy.
Maddie lightly hits Kaylee, but Kaylee doesn't look up. So Jack
Kawahu.
points at Maddie or Kaylee.
Kawahu.
So
Hopefully
here we
I'm
go.
not butchering that. I'm
He makes
sure
a
I
little
am.
gesture
Told Adam
to point.
everything. This is getting wild
I think
tonight.
it's Kaylee.
1 in the morning.
And then we see Maddie hit. Maddie hit.
Let's
William
go to
shoulder
Waffle House.
with just a little.
I started early, folks. I've done told this story. We're gonna take a break. We're taking a timeout. I've done told this story. I started early. I went to get some Mexican food. Went to a Mexican restaurant. Had a dank, and I mean dank, at this location where we go to. They put the entire bottle of tequila in these margaritas. Okay, so you don't even think you can drive. I didn't plan on driving back after. Okay, you have to sit there for a long period of time. You get your food and you're still drunk. All right, and a lot of these Mexican spots, a lot of any places that you go to and you get a margarita, you're like, ah, man, how many am I going to have to drink of these? How many $5 bills is it going to take to catch a buzz? No, one drink at this spot gets you buzzing, right? Publicly buzzed. So yeah, I kind of let it just kind of chill, just kind of been chasing the buzz ever since. But then when we went live, I was like, well, we're gonna have to pound a few extra beers here. So here we are. New name right here. Cajun Chick. God, I read that like an absolute moron. Cajun Chick. Thank you so much for being here. Appreciate it. And we're gonna get right back to business.
Easy hit. So Jack and Joe are probably now talking about the girls. Here we see the pointing right there.
So good.
Maddie says something, and it looks like she's saying it to Joe. Both have their hands pointed at one another. So now, I don't know if Maddie overheard something.
Cheap. It gets you good though.
But she's gonna.
I'd imagine it's probably cheap though.
They're both gonna point at each other.
I mean, that was.
So you can see right here, Joe has his hands stretched out towards Kaylee or Maddie, and then Maddie is she does the same thing. And I think she's not 100%. I think she's like 80% pointing at Joe. She is pointing at Joe right here because Jack is not even looking at her. He's looking away, and you can see the
Agent check.
You can see right here. She's not pointing at Jack. She's hitting Kaylee. But right here, you can see Joe and Maddie point at each other, stretch their hands up. Now she's pointing. But I don't think Joe is even looking at her.
Shit.
Maybe he is. And then she
Sounds
points
good as
again.
hell.
And I think this is where people said she said F you. I'm not sure. Yeah, this is where she says fuck you. So, I think she's saying it to Joe. Right there, she says fuck you. So I think Joe maybe made a joke, or he said something snarky or something that made Maddie say fuck you to him. But I don't think it was anything. I don't think she was like trying to like be like, oh fuck you. I think it was just all in. I think it was just playful. I don't know. So here we go again. They point at each other. She sees Joe pointing at her. She points back at him and she says, fuck you. Maddie paints her finger at Joe. Question mark, Jack notices.
Friday, Saturday in a row. They got you down round 1.
Okay, so Maddie turns again and she points a finger again at Joe. I think. Could be Jack, but I think it's Joe. And this is when Jack sees it, I guess. And he like tries to swat her away. Or something. Or maybe not. Maybe he's trying to say something else. He's telling... I think he's telling Maddie to stop. She points again. And then Jack, not even looking at her, he's like, hey, stop it. Or something like that.
I'm liking it.
He like says, like, stop, maybe. I don't know. Okay. Okay. Kaylee gestures towards Joe or Jack with her head to Maddie while laughing about something. So here we go. They're talking.
And to Brian's point right there, yeah, Joe found Maddie's level of drunk obnoxious. They are clearly pretty drunk, and I even said people said they got their food before, like people like that were already there, so we're skipping line, I guess. But was that up? I mean, the food truck is the one making the food here. Did they make their food ahead of theirs? That isn't really. I mean, that seems like a weird accusation.
Talking to each other, and then you can see Kaylee make a little, hey, look, we can do something, or he's saying this or something towards Maddie.
There's so many weird movements.
See that again.
Going on at all times in this thing.
She goes, hey, let's ditch him. Or I don't know what she's saying. I don't know if she's saying let's ditch him or something about Joe. So they know. I mean, they obviously know Jack is there. Yeah, they're all talking to each other. See more people approaching. These people still here. Joe and Jack are still having a good time with each other. They're talking, making jokes. Maddie poses to make it look like she's trying to get inside grub truck. Okay, so this is Maddie trying to make it look like she's trying to get inside the truck. And Kaylee sees that and she thinks it's funny. So she gets out her phone. So this is the debate. Is Kaylee trying to take a picture of Maddie, or is Kaylee trying to take a picture of Jack? So that she can be like, oh, this guy right here, he stalked us or something. And if we look, when does she take out her phone? So Maddie poses right here. So Kaylee's vaping. Maddie poses like she's trying to get in the grub truck window. And then Kaylee finds it funny. She laughs. she says, or says anything, but she laughs and she gets her phone out. And then Maddie makes the same pose she just did. Right here. So she made this pose. That made Kaylee laugh. And then she does it again. And Kaylee takes her phone out. Kaylee tries to record Maddie trying to get into the grub truck. Or is she trying to take a picture video of Jack? Yeah, so this is what we were talking about. Some people say, and Joe also says this, I saw him say that, he's like, no, she was not trying to take a picture of Jack or a video. She was trying to record Maddie for Snapchat. That's what I heard Joe on, I think it was either TikTok or Facebook Live, something like that. So we can see. So what prompted Kaylee to take out her phone was Maddie trying to get into the truck. So we know that for a fact, because we just saw this. She did this, she found it funny, she takes out her phone, and then you can see Maddie trying to do it again, look in the camera, and this is where she's recording her. And some people are saying that she's trying to take a recording or a picture of Jack. So I don't know. To me personally, it looks like she's recording Maddie, and that's what Joe said as well.
Do you guys have any NFC go-go
She
band,
took
any,
the
whatever
video or picture, and they're looking at it. She's laughing about something. Now we can see Joe and Jack do like a shoulder bump. The guys do. Kaylee takes another video of Maddie trying to get into the grub truck, question mark. Is this, in this instance, it is clear that Jack would not be in the video or photo that Kaylee is taking. So he would be out of the frame in this one. So you can see she's trying again. She's taking a picture of Maddie. And here, Jack is all the way over here. So you can tell that in this one, there's zero chance that Kaylee is taking a picture or video of Jack, because Jack is like all the way over here, and you can even see Joe pointing towards the girls. He's like trying to say something, and here Kaylee is recording Maddie. And from the angle, like the phone's going this way, it's not like, and even if she's recording, you know, from the other angle, it would be recording this way.
Facing you with the chip, any other.
She's recording, she's laughing, Maddie's trying to get in. Maddie grabs the food. Maddie grabs food as Kaylee's recording her laughing, and they walk off. So she gets the food, and she's recording her, and they walk off, and they think it's funny. Joe points to the girls, letting Jack know that girls have gone off. So you can see right here, the girls leave. Jack doesn't even know they're leaving. Trying to say something. And then Joe goes, hey, they left, they're leaving. And then Jack looks over. Jack gestures, what the hell, or where are you going, to the girls. So we don't know what he says, but that's kind of what it looks like. He's like, hey, like, where are you going? And he just stands there. So he doesn't immediately go after them. Kind of just stands there. And then you can see Joe goes to grab his food. Jack notices that Joe has gone to get his food and walks off. So Joe points towards the girls. Jack looks over at the girls. And as that's happening and Jack is saying, look, where are you going? Or something. Joe goes to get his food. He looks over. And then that's when Jack looks over back at Joe.
I said that too, Threads. You can't overanalyze.
But Joe's not there. Joe's now grabbing his food. And then you can see Jack, I guess, sees that Joe is getting his food. He starts to follow the girls. He goes around the bench. He could have went this way, but he did go towards the girls. Around this way. Joe sees him walk off, I guess. And then you can see him walking, and this is where you can see him wave or do a hand gesture.
Hey, KC.
We don't know what he's trying. If he said anything.
Thanks for coming in, guys. Appreciate it.
He just did a wave. Jack waves at the girls, question mark. Is he wave? What does he say? We have no idea. Okay. Jack walks straight and to the right. So then Jack.
Yep. Ivan Montez. This is a video from Cat Cinema. Go give him a follow.
He doesn't follow them. He goes this way and to the right. He goes, walks off. And goes behind the building. Okay. So, conclusion that Jack has. So what is the conclusion from this video? Just from the video. Based only on this video and nothing else alone, do I think that Jack Cass looks guilty and is capable of committing the crime? So here's some questions we have to ask. Did he follow the girls in, or did he come in with them in the very beginning? Well, it looks like he came with them because he was in between them, and then he walks to the stand kind of away from them. We don't know why. So it looks like he did come in with them, in my opinion. Did he try to hide from cameras? So this is a big question. And everybody...
Wow, did he? When the girls left?
Joe goes to get his food. He looks over. And then that's when Jack looks over back at Joe. But Joe's not there. Joe's now grabbing his food. And then you can see Jack, I guess, sees that Joe is getting his food. And he starts to follow the girls. He goes around the bench. He could have went this way, but he did go towards the girls. Around this way. Joe sees him walk off, I guess. And then you can see him walking, and this is where you can see him wave or do a hand gesture. We don't know what he's trying. If he said anything, he just did a wave. Jack waves at the girls, question mark. Is he wave? What does he say? We have no idea.
You know, I never even noticed that before, that gesture there.
Okay. Jack walks straight and to the right. So then Jack, he doesn't follow them. He goes this way and to the right. He goes, walks off. And goes behind the building. Okay. So, conclusion that Jack has. So what is the conclusion from this video? Just from the video. Based only on this video and nothing else alone, do I think that Jack Cass looks guilty and is capable of committing the crime? So here's some questions we have to ask. Did he follow the girls in, or did he come in with them in the very beginning? Well, it looks like he came with them because he was in between them, and then he walks to the stand kind of away from them. We don't know why. So it looks like he did come in with them, in my opinion. Did he try to hide from cameras? So this is a big question. And everybody, a lot of people are disagreeing about this. From the video, it looks like he puts on the hoodie, but is he trying to hide from cameras? But if he is trying to hide from the cameras, he continues to be there for 8 minutes in front of the cameras. And when he takes off his hat,
it seemed to me like he was trying to hide from the cameras.
Full head.
I don't think any of these people thought that this video would be scrutinized to this degree.
That's even more exposure. And was he here before to the grub truck? Does he know there's cameras here, or is this his first time?
Hey, good night, Anna Sue. Thank you for coming in here. Thank you for hanging out all night. Appreciate it. Hope you have a good weekend. Seriously.
Because if he knows the cameras are here, he would have put on the hoodie earlier or something.
Pookie ain't playing tonight, boys and girls.
So, in my opinion, I don't think he's hiding from cameras. It just doesn't look like that. He just looks like he probably just got cold or just put on a hoodie. That's, in my opinion, that's what it looks like. Could I be wrong? Sure, I could be wrong. Was he stalking girls? Well, if he was stalking the girls, that means he would be walking behind them when they walked in, because like you don't really stalk them by walking in between them. Unless someone.
There were dudes literally that I mean, they weren't waiting on food. Like They just were
weird
just
stalkers do. I
lingering
don't know,
there.
but it doesn't make sense because they would have probably said something the first thing when they approached the grub truck. They would said, "Hey, this guy's stalking us. Please come help us." I don't know. It makes no sense. Was he hiding a knife underneath? That's another question people are saying. Some people are saying, "Oh, look, there's a knife there. There's you can see the outline," but I don't see any knife and I don't see any outline. I don't know what people are talking about. Could there be a knife? Yes, there could be a knife.
Never heard that one.
There could be anything. There could be a gun. There could be whatever. We don't see it. There's no evidence of it. Did he come off looking socially awkward and inept? Okay, so if he's a weird stalker, was he socially weird? Because if somebody who's a stalker and he's a weird guy, I think he would, if he was a weirdo or something, socially awkward, he would just stand in the back the whole time. I don't think he would want to talk with anybody. I think he would just observe everything and like not really try to make conversation. But as we can see, he made conversation with a lot of people, and that's also another point. When people say he was trying to hide from the cameras, well, if he's trying to hide from the cameras to, you know, prevent the cameras from knowing his identity, why is he talking to all of these people? He's talking with Joe. He's talking to the tank top guy, to the guy number 8. He's making a lot of conversation. He spoke with Joe for like for a couple of minutes, and Joe would definitely recognize him. So if he's gonna go commit this crime, it's kind of dumb for him to talk to all these people, be on camera. So the question is, was he planning to commit the...
What's up, Gina? Wait, I think are mentioning the kneeling. I think those are benches. I'm not gonna lie, I thought those were kneeling people also, but I think they're benches back there. I think they're back to back.
crime? Like, at what point did he decide to commit the crime, if he did commit the crime? Well, it's definitely not when he walks in with the girls. It's not when he's socializing with all the guys.
I had that, dude. I literally thought the same thing. I thought the same thing. I thought, like, if this is there somebody back there, like, you know, literally bent over, almost like tying their shoe, right? I think they're benches.
He would know that, hey, they would recognize me. I'm here with the girls. They know I'm with the girls, and they're gonna report me to the cops after the crime. So I think at this point, if he was the one that like did something, it only happened after the girls walked off. After he got ditched by the girls, was he angry enough at the girls to commit the crime? Is the motive strong enough? Okay, so this is the most important question. After the girls ditched him, and it looks like they did ditch him, we can acknowledge that. Did it make him so mad, so pissed off that he like maybe got used, or he just got like ditched like that in front of Joe and other people? But I think it was just Joe. There's nobody else there that was kind of like looking at.
No, I seen it, dude. No, don't even feel bad. I seen the kneeling also, and I almost said something. I was like, these people just back here tying their shoes for fucking ever.
Did it make him so mad that he decided, hey, screw these girls. They like, you know, they bruised my ego. I'm gonna go like to the house and, you know, confront them. And maybe if he confronted them, they got into a fight and something happened. I don't know. Okay, so based on just the video and nothing else, I don't think he did it as of now.
Yeah, there you go.
If more things are shown to us, it's not speculation. You know, the Africa thing and the cabin thing, which is still, it's all speculation. I haven't seen any sources for that. If something comes up, I will gladly change my mind. But as of right now, based on this video alone and nothing else, I don't think there's enough for me to think he did it. If I was a juror, it would not be beyond a reasonable doubt for me. I cannot. I don't see it. Yeah, but you know, if you have a different opinion, that's fine. We can debate. We can theorize.
I like this guy. Does he have more videos? Did he keep making Idaho videos? No. What the hell? What the hell? All right. All right. right. Very strange change in okay. For some reason he decided to make 3 videos on Idaho 4 and they did really well.
Alright, so in this video we're going to talk about all the things that this video answers and all the new details it provides. So if you haven't seen the video, this is the video where Kaylee asks Maddie, hey Maddie, what did you tell Adam? And then Maddie responds, I told Adam everything. So this is the video if you haven't seen it. Here it goes.
What did you say to Adam? I told Adam everything.
Okay, so as we can see, it looks like the hoodie guy, he does talk in it. Right there. But it's a lot of static and noise, so we can't really tell. And I saw other people enhance it and did a pretty good job, but I still can't tell what he's saying. Alright, so what are the things that it answers for us? Okay, well the first thing he answers is the girls walked to the grub truck from the corner club and did not come by the car. So we can see them walk. We were wondering whether they came to the grub truck by car, all 3 of them or just the 2 of them. Now we know that they walked there. So this Google Earth map shows where it was. So this is the corner club. This is where they were. And then they left it. And this is where this video takes place, right here. The camera is right in this building. So they walked this way and they were walking down. So they had just left the corner club. It just happened. They probably crossed the street, walked this way, right here, and that's where they got recorded. And we can show you right here, right there. So this is the corner club right here. And they went this way, they crossed over there and went this way. And here's the camera right here. This is the camera that records them. So as they're walking this way, this is when they get recorded. Just this is just for the reference. And then they walked from corner club to here, right here, from corner club to here, and this is the path they most likely took right here. They went this way for the corner club, past the camera, they most likely walked this way, and this is the grub truck. So this is all very, very close to each other. Here's a corner club, camera, grub truck. They came out over here and they crossed the road most likely, and this is where the grub truck was positioned. And we know they most likely crossed the road because in the video here we can see them walking in right here. They cross the road over here and they walk over this way. So if they crossed the road before, they would be walking just this way, but they most likely walked all the way over here, crossed the road, and this is where the crop truck is right here. You can see them walking, boom, they walking through the side. That's how they arrive. So there we go. This is all right here. And their house,
I can't take those.
where they lived.
Yeah, neither one of them paying for any damn code.
So this is the corner club, camera, and grub truck. And this is the 1122.
Let's just get real for 2 seconds.
It's their house right there. Okay. All right, moving on.
Hey, no.
The girls did not indeed walk to the grub truck with the hood. The girls did indeed walk to the grub truck with the hoodie guys. So this answers once and for all that the girls were with the hoodie guy when they were walking to the grub truck. He didn't intercept them over here as they walked in. Some people said, oh, he just kind of, kind of butted in over here. Some people said, oh, maybe he was just, over there somewhere and he kind of tagged along, or he just started stalking it. That did not happen. He was with them. That is settled, and we don't have to worry about that anymore. Okay. Next. It does not look like he was stalking them, so we just answered that. He was walking with them. It does not seem like they're, trying to get away from him. I mean, Kaylee's right there walking side by side with him. They kind of actually entered the grub truck video the same way as we see them right here. Maddie was a little bit behind them, and then Kaylee and the hoodie guy was side by side. So the way they walked here is most likely the entire way they walked to the grub truck. And obviously he's not stalking them because he just said something. He just said something in the video over here, even though we can't tell. And then Kaylee's not curious what was said to Adam. Okay. Next, they did not drive up to the grub truck in a car, but walked there from the corner club. So again, almost thought, or whatever, nobody knew how they arrived at the grub truck. So now we know they walked. They didn't take a car and drove up and parked here somewhere and then just walked over to the grub truck. They walked all this way, and it's a pretty close. It's not that far, as you can see. This is, I think it's like a 5-minute walk. The grub truck tells you that you are being recorded. Okay, so I found this picture, this video. This video was posted. Credit to Jonathan Lee Riches Investigates. He actually found the grub truck. He went to Moscow, Idaho, and he walked around and he found the grub truck. And as you can see, this is the grub truck. I think it's in the same position as it was that night. And right here is a sign. It says Twitch. Right here. It says, attention, live stream zone, Twitch. So as soon as you approach the grub truck, you know you're being recorded because it says right here, attention, live stream zone. It's very clear. You can see it. It's not hidden. It's right there. So the hoodie guy in the video.
Y'all they got me shook up in this motherfucker.
They know they're being recorded.
God almighty.
You know, it's not hidden. It's right there. Okay, next. Okay, so that's everything that it answers. That's everything that kind of, you know, things that were in the gray that we know for sure. Alright, the new details. It looks like Kaylee asked the question right after leaving the club. What prompted her to ask the question? Was it because the hoodie guy said something? Because someone had texted her asking her something? Or because she overheard Maddie a little at the club when they were inside the club? Show location, the camera, and the club distance. Okay, so this conversation between Maddie and Kaylee, it literally happens right near the corner club. So what this tells me is that as soon as they leave the corner club and they're walking here, this is when the question is asked to Maddie. So it must have been whatever happened transpired at the club, the conversation that Maddie had with Adam. It was fresh in Kaylee's mind. So as soon as they left the club, that's when, you know, Kaylee inquired, "Hey, Maddie, what did you say to Adam?" And the question is, what prompted her to ask the question? Was it because the hoodie guy said something? It could possibly be that as they're walking here, we can see in video, the hoodie guy says something. We don't know what he says. Was it because he said something and then it's like Kaylee finds out, "Hey, Maddie, what did you say to Adam? Like, what is, you know, the hoodie guy talking about? Like, hey, what just happened, blah blah blah." Or was it because somebody texted Kaylee and that's why she's asking the question? But it does not seem like Kaylee's on the phone. So if Kaylee was on the phone here and then she asked the question, we can be like, okay, well, maybe somebody had just texted her and she found out, "Hey, I got this text message. What is going on, Maddie? Like, what did you tell to Adam? Like, did Adam text her? Did, you know, somebody else text her?" But we can see she doesn't have her phone out. This entire video, the phone's not out. So it must be either something the hoodie guy said over here. We can't make out what he says. Or was it just fresh on her mind? She just, you know, got out of the corner club and she was just thinking about it. She's like, why was the behavior of Adam this? Or, you know, what, you know, she overheard something being spoken, and she, you know, she seems a bit angry when she asks this to Maddie. But we don't know. We can't answer this question right now. But the good thing is that the police 100% saw this video, obviously, and they 100% spoke to Adam, who works at the club. They said it's the bartender. They asked Adam, hey, what did Maddie tell you? So the police know what happened, what transpired. So they probably looked into it. You know, they also looked at Kaylee's text messages. They looked through all her messages for phones, all her apps. So they have a very good idea what was spoken, what she was kind of, you know, angry about. So that's a good thing. We don't know the answer to this, but the police do. Okay, moving on. 2. The tonality of Kaylee tells us she asks the question in a demanding tone. She almost demands to know what Maddie said to Adam. It comes across like she is somewhat frustrated with Maddie, but she doesn't stay mad at Maddie afterwards because we see Kaylee laughing and smiling with Maddie at the grub truck. So she might have been annoyed or disappointed by what Maddie said, but she didn't dwell on it. It was almost like, oh, Maddie, why did you have to say this? That's how it comes across to me. Yeah, so the tonality of what happened, of the question that was asked, the way it was asked right here, it's very important.
What did you say to Adam?
So Kaylee's obviously not happy. You can see her saying,
Morgan Lowe, what are you doing, buddy?
Maddie,
thank you for popping in here. Appreciate it.
what did you say to Adam?
I'm gonna give you one of these.
Like,
Boom!
hey,
One of these. Boom!
What did you say? And what this tells us is that, well, after Maddie answers, I told him everything. So Maddie doesn't even have to elaborate. She says, I told him everything. So it's something very specific what she said. Because we don't hear Kaylee go, what do you mean everything? What are you talking about exactly? Like, you know, what exactly are you talking about? Everything, you know, it could be anything. Like, you know, she knows that there's a one specific thing that Maddie told Adam. There's a specific subject that was discussed that Kaylee and Maddie are both aware of this subject.
I'm gonna hit.
Maybe it's something, it was a secret or something that was, you know, they both knew what was not supposed to, you know,
a man about a dog,
be told to
real
anybody.
quick.
And it, to me, I think that Maddie was very drunk. Yeah, the way they're walking here, you can even see that Kaylee's probably a little bit drunk the way she's walking in the beginning. And you know, maybe Maddie said a little bit more than she was supposed to. Okay, but Maddie, what did she want? And also going back to the number 2, we can see that, you know, even though Kaylee's a bit, you know, pissed off, a little bit angry with Maddie, the way she asked the question, the tone in her voice. When they get to the grub truck, you know, they're kind of like, you know, Kaylee doesn't come across as she's mad at Maddie anymore, but she's on her phone, so maybe those two things have something to do with it. But you can see Kaylee laughing with Maddie, you know, later on in the video we can see them, talking with each other, laughing, making jokes, all that. So it wasn't anything. Maybe they buried the hatchet or whatever happened, and you know. Or maybe it wasn't even anything that serious that she said here. So I wish we knew what was said. That would really, really help us. Okay, number 3. Whatever Maddie told Adam, Kaylee understood what she was talking about. So I was just talking about this. So, like I said, Maddie did not have to elaborate to Kaylee what was said. She said, I told him everything. So there's a certain subject, a certain topic that she discussed with Adam that both of them are aware of. It's like when you're best friends with somebody, you kind of know, like, you know, hey, what'd you tell him? Oh, I told him about, you know, you don't have to say, oh, I told him about the thing, about this, and that. You're aware of what was told. So whatever Maddie told Adam, Kaylee understood what she was talking about. Kaylee did not ask Maddie to elaborate on what she said. She didn't say, well, what do you mean? What exactly? She knew right away what was told, and whatever that was most likely something that Kaylee didn't want out, or she wanted to control how it got out. So I was just talking about this. Kaylee was not happy for saying this, saying whatever she said. I think whatever was said was either a secret or it was something sensitive, whatever it was, and maybe, like I said, I think Maddie was probably very drunk and she kind of like let it slip, or she, you know, because she was drunk, she didn't think it was a, you know, a big deal, maybe. But anyways, I think Kaylee wanted to be the one that told people whatever it was. I think she wanted to control how it got out. Okay. Number 4, the fact that Kaylee didn't know what Maddie told Adam tells us that they were separated at the corner club. They must have been talking to different people during that time. Maddie was talking with Adam, and Kaylee was either on her phone or talking to someone else. Not close enough to hear Maddie's entire conversation. Maybe she heard bits and pieces. So how did Kaylee find out that Maddie spoke about the thing to Adam? So what this tells us, the fact that Kaylee doesn't know what Maddie told, they were the club right here, and you know, people said that, you know, they were speaking to a lot of different people. You know, there's a bunch of different people they were talking to, and so that shows that they weren't together the whole time at the club, the corner club. That, you know, Maddie was speaking to some people, Kaylee speaking to somebody else. You know, they're you know, Kaylee's very extroverted. You know, Maddie, I'm pretty sure, is also extroverted. So they were talking to you know, different people. And when that conversation happened between Adam and Maddie, Kaylee was, you know, somewhere pretty far, not too far, but they're in the one building, but she was not around Maddie. So it was one-on-one. It was probably Adam and Maddie one-on-one talking about something, you know, and then they got into the conversation, and that's when Maddie told the thing. And then Kaylee must have been either on her phone just doing her thing. Maybe she went to the bathroom, or maybe she was talking with another guy or another girl, or maybe she was, you know, like I said, talking with somebody else, but she maybe kind of overheard Maddie say some stuff, like bits and pieces, you know, and she's like, you know, kind of heard some words, and she, you know, put the two together, you know, the 2 and 2 together.
Oh shit, that's why you're here.
Okay, what prompted Kaylee to ask Maddie about what she said? Did she get a text from someone inquiring about it? Well, the video does not show that Kaylee's on the phone at that instance, but maybe she got a text a little before the video, or maybe it was prompted by something else. We don't know yet. So, like I was saying, what prompted Kaylee to ask that? Was it something that the hoodie guy said when they were walking here? Or maybe, you know, maybe it was a text message, but we can't see it on the video. So they're walking over here, and the camera only captures, you know, a certain amount of space. So maybe they were over here, or they just left the club, and that's when Kaylee got the text message, or even a phone call, or whatever. We don't know. Or maybe that is the reason they left the club. Maybe Kaylee got a message, you know, and she's like, okay, let's get out of here, let's go. She got maybe kind of frustrated with Maddie. We have no idea, but that would mean that Adam, once he heard from Maddie what was told, he told someone. You know, he must have told someone, and we don't know who that is. But maybe Adam tells, you know, sends a message or calls somebody, says, hey, listen, this is what Maddie told me. I think you should know this, blah, blah, blah. And that person, whoever that is, I know a lot of people are probably thinking it's
I can't get over every other video this guy's ever done except for 3 is some kind of weird cat video.
The X, but we have no idea. We can only speculate. Right? So that person, whoever that was, maybe texted Kaylee, or called her and said, hey, what is this I'm hearing from Adam? Blah, 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 blah. And then they...
What's going on? Party of 5. Love it.
That's when...
Thank you.
Kaylee's like, hey, Maddie, what did you
late where I'm at.
Like, what's going on?
Love it.
Okay, moving on. Number 6. We see a white truck after they pass. What prompted that white truck to park? Was it going to the corner club?
That
Did he
sounds
see the girls
amazing
and wanted
right
to
now,
say
Pookie.
hi to them?
Jesus Christ. I'm done with this video. I'm drunk. I want some mac and cheese with bacon in it. Dear God. Catfish sandwich sounds good as hell too. Well, guys, join the Discord, first of all. Dan could not make it tonight, but he will be returning next week. Hopefully he will be getting better soon. Still a banger-ass night. Everyone still came the hell through. Love it. Thank you all so much. The guest from Australia, the guest from the future, an entire day in the future, Christian D'Amico, thank you very much for being on here, my friend. I appreciate that and giving us some insight into some more of the crazy-ass fucking paranormal insanity that you like to discuss, and I like it. I'm here for it. Everybody that came through the chat, thank you all so much. A diverse group of opinions. Everyone has their own, way of thinking in the chat every single time. The chat in Publicly Buzzed is fire every single time. I love it. Yeah, if you're heading out the door, please hit the like. If you're not subbed up, please sub up. I don't know why you wouldn't if you've lasted this long. Thank you so much to Chick Antique. Yeah, thank you everybody for hanging out. Appreciate it. But yeah, Christian will be back. Sudi, go back, check it out. Christian will be back for sure. We're going to be planning out some more episodes. But if you are subbed up, hit the 3 little dots at the side. Make sure that all notifications are clicked. That way that you'll get any community posts, any videos that I post, which is pretty regular, and lives. I go live all the time. But I go live for sure every Tuesday and Thursday, 9 p.m. Eastern time, and every Friday. Friday night's the banger now. Don't forget, 10:30 p.m. Eastern time, and we usually go pretty late. We've been going about 3 hours. You never know what's going to go. It's not publicly censored. Absolutely not. We get wild in here. 100%. And we need to get Dan maybe a new mic. It's always staticking out. Cindy, everybody hanging out in the background. Thank you guys so much. Everybody that's in the chat that's been coming through. Thank you all so much. Oh, what mac and cheese so much, Pookie. Oh, God. Oh, God. Thank you all so much. Seriously. Who knows? May come on this weekend. I don't know. Tomorrow I'm pretty busy, actually. Sunday I may try to come through, but, keep an eye on the channel. You never know. I'm definitely going to be editing some videos. That's for damn sure. But yeah, everyone in here is amazing. You guys keep this thing rolling. Tons of members in here. And everyone that just comes the hell through. Keep it rolling. You produce the content that you see on here. So yeah. No, Sudi, thank you. Appreciate it. Rich, thank you. Everybody. Guys, thank you so much. I will see you next time. Later.
See, we shoot them up bang bang over here. We not scared of they motherfucking ass. See, we shoot them up bang bang over here. We not scared of they motherfucking ass.